Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? Happy Friday. Let me fix this. Stay. I hate this mic. Just stay. There we go. Excuse me. Excuse me. Hello. Hello. Welcome to the show, everybody. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's having a wonderful Friday night. We had some fun content come out today. We got Shawn Ryan. He did a massive dose of 5-MeO DMT. It doesn't sound like it went well for him. You know, all these people talk about how it made their life better. I don't know if it always makes everybody's life better, but apparently he's quitting politics now, which, I mean, I don't blame him. I kind of want to quit politics too, because it's like, what's the point? You know, you support somebody and then they become terrible and you're like, how many times is this going to happen before I just go, fuck it? I'm done. So I understand where he's coming from. And we got the most interesting podcast I've seen in a while with Channel 5 had Nick Fuentes and Hunter Biden. And they got into it and they seem like they're kind of friendly, man. What a weird collab. Looks like they're going to be friends. I wonder if it has anything to do with Nick talking about voting Democrat for midterms. And they're like, oh, maybe we need to be nice to this guy. He'll get us some voters. We can court the Nick Fuentes incel fandom for votes. So we'll be reacting to that stuff. We got some more stuff on Asmongold and his girlfriend Kaise. So it's just going to be a fun show. It's going to be a fun hang for a Friday night. Hope everybody's doing good. One like for you and nukes for everybody. All right. No nukes for me, please. Don't nuke me. All right. I like to live. I don't want any bombs dropped on me. Anyway, boys, if you can, smash the thumbs up. Links are in the description. If you want to support the show, shout out to all the members who have been supporting the show. If you want to support the show, you can become a member. And super chats are open as always. If you want to join the conversation and support the show that way, let's pull it up. We'll start with the Nick Fuentes Hunter Biden stuff. And just a lot of clips coming out. And it seems like they had an interesting little debate. So somebody posted something where like it came to blows and all that. I think that ended up being bullshit. Because I haven't seen all these clips yet, but I haven't seen anything where it comes to blows. Like they might have had a little bit of a heated discussion about the Holocaust and all that shit, but nowhere did they come to blows. And they actually seem kind of friendly. Anyway, I hope everybody's doing good. Let's have some fun. Thank you for joining the show. Let's get to these clips, man. Nick Fuentes and Hunter Biden spar for 7 minutes over black crime. Well, that looked like it's going to be fun. So a lot of it, I'm sure, again, I've only seen a little bit of the clips here, and I'm sure a lot of it's going to be like racism, anti-Semitism. Why are you denying the Holocaust?
I mean, you talk about the anger that's out there and the frustration.
And is it just me or is Nick already putting the weight back on? That's the thing with weight loss. Like, you lose weight, you look good, and then a couple weeks later, you're right back to looking like a fatty. I mean, I know, I've done it. It's hard to keep the weight off.
I think part of the frustration, let's be honest, is that white people do feel like we are being boxed out in major cities in the country. And it feels like, look, there's a little Haiti and there's various ethnic enclaves where you get that local culture and they do their, cultural festivals and that sort of thing. And white people feel like they're being pushed out and they want a space where things are familiar.
Do you feel the same way about the Italian festival that happens in every city?
Well, here's a good example.
Or St. Patrick's Day?
Well, there's no Irish neighborhood in Chicago. Little Italy.
There is.
I mean, there's some remnant in Bridgeport.
Yeah. It's important to note that, like, and I'm not trying to get into like a shouting match here, but as a family coming from a family who did leave Philadelphia in the 60s because of black migration from the South after the Civil Rights Act was passed, there was a sort of like mass flight of white people into the suburbs.
So is Andrew admitting to fleeing Philadelphia because too many blacks were in Philadelphia? Is that what he just said? That's problematic.
Family who did. Yeah. It's important to note that, like, and I'm not trying to get into like a shouting match here, but as a family coming from a family who did leave Philadelphia in the 60s because of black migration.
I don't know, Andrew. That's kind of problematic, bro. See, me, I'm a true ally. When I get flooded by blacks, I love it. The more blacks, the better. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's kind of, I mean, It's not very woke.
From the South, after the Civil Rights Act was passed, there was a sort of like mass flight of white people into the suburbs, and that kind of led.
He is wearing shoulder pads. Good point, Buddhist priest. It's you know, that's the problem when you go on somebody else's show. You can't set up the angles, and they really did not pick flattering angles for Nick here. You know, or Hunter Biden. They both look kind of terrible.
To a homogenization of different cultures, because they rushed so fast to build these like identical strip mall suburbs that it was very hard to maintain cultural bonds that made different European and white neighborhoods unique around like the 1950s and before. So I feel like the mass suburbanization is also a big factor that led to those like cultural bonds breaking.
Yeah, but why did that happen? I mean, a lot of the suburbanization is because of the race riots in the 1960s. People moved out because of the violence. You know, my grandfather was in the National Guard in Chicago when, after MLK got assassinated, the whole West Side burned to the ground, and people didn't want to be around that anymore.
Why were the riots?
Yeah, MLK Jr. was assassinated.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so does that justify burning down the city?
No, I didn't say it justifies it, but it
sounds like that's what was going on there, Hunter. Yeah, I mean, it was terrible. They had a right to be upset. They had a right to protest and all that. But you never have a right to burn your own fucking city down. And what does that solve? What does that solve?
It sure justifies an enormous amount of the anger, the same kind of anger that you feel about being left out, the same kind of anger that you're expressing right now about the idea that you're culturally irrelevant, that you don't have a place in society. Imagine if you were a 26-year-old black man in 1968 and saw your hero be...
First of all, I'd have a giant dick, and that would make me happy. I could definitely imagine myself as a black man with a 7-foot-long dick. The giant fucking black snake. I mean, there's worse things that could happen to you.
Assassinated.
Oh, I saw Trump get shot in the ear, and
did he?
And I saw Charlie Kirk get shot, and I didn't see any cities get burned down. It's funny
I think it's a very, very, very different thing. I think
How's that different? Charlie Kirk got shot in the neck.
Yeah,
it's different because that's white people. white people are expected not to burn cities down, so that's different.
And liberals celebrated all over social media by Tyler Robinson.
Yeah, who is what?
Who is some liberal guy.
He is?
Mm-hmm.
Some weirdo furry dude. Fucking another weirdo furry dude.
But
he's white.
He's got a transgender boyfriend.
Does that make him liberal? Because he's transgender? Because he's gay?
So. Well, because he's got a transgender boyfriend, yeah, I think so.
It makes him liberal.
I think he was liberal, yeah.
Yeah, he was. If he's sitting there going, I had to take Charlie Kirk out because I'm so tired of the hate. There's just too much hatred coming from Charlie Kirk. That tells you all you need to fucking know. There's nobody on the conservative side who said that. So now Hunter's trying to say that he's a conservative? Is he falling for the bullshit that came out where it's like, oh, but his parents are Republicans? It's like, a lot of fucking woke retards have Republican parents. That doesn't change the fact that they're a woke retard. Okay, I think he's trying to deny reality here.
Yeah.
Okay, well, he didn't come from a liberal family. He didn't come from a liberal enclave. He didn't come from a liberal background. He's not a minority. He was a Mormon, correct? Mm-hmm. And grew up in a Mormon household, and he went to a largely Mormon college, and
none of that changes what he identified as. He's clearly a fucking progressive leftist who fell for the woke fucking talking points on Charlie Kirk, that Charlie Kirk was putting trans people in danger. That he's responsible for the deaths of trans people.
Ended up committing an act of violence, according to the FBI and the authorities in Utah that charged him. How does that in any way compare to what we're talking about? I'm not justifying the violence that occurred after the death of Martin Luther King, but you
did, though. You were just kind of like, hey, what happened? People left because they were burning cities down, and people don't kind of like that. And then, what happens? The city never recovers. Because you burn shit down and all the fucking prosperous, like well-to-do people are like, well, I'm out of here. And then the city just turns to shit and never recovers. And then you're like, oh, but what happened? What caused that? Martin, it sounds like a justification.
Saying that person, this Tyler, whoever his name is was as disenfranchised as the African-American community in 1968 in inner cities?
Well, the question is who we want to live around. And in the 1960s, the West Side burns down. We don't want to live around that. We don't want to live around a city that's burning down.
That's not when the white flight happened.
It is. It was a big response to it. Absolutely.
100% not.
Absolutely.
You make these historical...
And he's just sitting there like, I don't have to do anything. I just have to sit here and be quiet and let them talk. It must be the easiest interview ever. You just sit there and let your guests carry the conversation.
Connections that don't exist. Part of it was potentially, but before that, what Mayor Daley did is made Chicago the most segregated city in the entire United States, other than Boston. When you would come from the South to Chicago, African Americans from the South, blacks in the South coming to Chicago would say that Chicago was twice the level of segregation and racism that occurred in the South. And so it wasn't as if you're coming into a situation in which you're feeling in any way enfranchised by the community and the situation that you're in. And as many people left simply because of the idea that someone was black moving into their neighborhood as the violence that occurred.
Like Andrew and his family.
After the assassination of Martin Luther King.
It's amazing that Andrew actually admitted that.
So the numbers actually, pre-1968, when King was shot, you had more people leave the city because of the desegregation, because of the 1964 Civil Rights Act, than you did after the riots.
I think that's just not true. I think that the race riots were a huge driver of white flight to the suburbs. I think it's just dishonest to say that's not the case.
Okay, so what's your point about all of this?
Well, we're talking about where people want to live.
Yeah, I know. So like what in 2026?
Well, how about in 2020 when Minneapolis burned to the ground? Or how about in the summer of 2020 in Chicago?
Minneapolis didn't burn to the ground.
It didn't?
No. I mean, there were
BLM
parts
didn't
of it,
destroy dozens of structures?
If you guys need a physical witness to what happened in Minneapolis, there were many structures that burnt to the ground. Not the city, but there was, I would say, between 40 to 50.
There was a whole area that was attacked. It wasn't all of Minnesota. I forget the name of the area that was attacked, but they burned down the Target. They burned down all kinds of shit. And then they take over like a police station and shit. Like that was insane. I think it was billions of dollars of damage was caused. I had to look it up.
Buildings off of Lake Street in the south side that did burn to the ground, but the most of the city was intact. But it was quite an intense situation.
People don't want to
there's only 10% of the city got burned
live
down.
around that. People don't want to live around that. You know, in Chicago, it rolled on into the summer, and it wasn't, let's say, the anger of the oppressed and the disenfranchised.
So
they were looting. They were looting and carjacking. The criminals.
Yeah. Who are?
Mostly black.
Nick.
Let's see. Around $500 million in estimated property damage in the Twin Cities, making it the second costliest civil disturbance in U.S. history after the 1992 Los Angeles riots. Overall Twin Cities estimate, multiple sources, including local reporting and later reviews, put total property damage at approximately $500 million smackaroos. This covered more than 1,500 locations, buildings affected by arson, vandalism, and looting, primarily in late May, early June 2020 after George Floyd's death. Yeah. It was only 1,500 locations and buildings. I guess they didn't all burn down. Some of them were just looted, okay? So...
Is that not true?
Yeah, maybe, Nick. I don't know. I just don't. I don't know why you use the platform that you have to make that your target. Are you saying that the problem with the 26-year-old white kid living in suburbia outside of Chicago and his feeling of being disenfranchised?
Butelli, am I saying your name right?
Bootoil _ super chatted $19.99. It's always the white man's fault.
Yes, it is.
No matter the issue,
sorry.
the left always skirts accountability for POCs. The angles they come up with to blame whites are actually impressive.
Yeah, it's anything. You have to really try hard not to come across as racist. So the easiest way not to come across as racist is to just never hold blacks accountable for anything. Because the moment you hold African Americans accountable for their actions, then, the woke crowd's going to spin that as racist. So it's just best to just always go, no, but it's the white people. And thank you for the 20 Butili. Close enough, Butili. I know it ain't boot oil. I know it ain't boot oil like the dumb robot said. Yeah, guys, if you can, share this out. Help me get this out there, because YouTube's they're not sharing much lately. So if you can, share this on your social medias. Get this out there. Much love.
Thank you, because there was looting and rioting in Minneapolis by black people, and it's black people that are doing it.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with Austin Metcalf was that he got stabbed in the neck at a track meet. And the problem with our city in Chicago is that the Magnificent Mile is gone. Water Tower Place is gone because of all the crime.
Nick, and the type of an entire generation of African Americans is that they've been getting killed by cops for decades. What are you talking about, Nick?
Yeah, that's a bunch of bullshit, bro. That really is bullshit. The whole looking at Hunter Biden's face, like what do I got to say so I can not be considered a racist? That's so overplayed and such bullshit. It really is.
Because they commit crime. And listen, it's not...
Nick,
what?
That's not true. It's not true. Are you saying that police brutality as it relates and racism in the police force, in the way in which police treat African Americans? Nick, you could grow up here like I did between Wilmington and Philadelphia. And if you were a black dentist and you lived in Wilmington and you commuted to Philadelphia, the chances of you being pulled over by a state trooper, either Delaware or in Pennsylvania, are about 50 times that would be if it was a white guy. 50 times. And so what you're trying to tell me is that the problem in America right now is that a 26-year-old white kid who lives in suburban Chicago doesn't feel like he has access because he's been canceled or he's been woke, and the problem is black people.
I didn't say the problem's black people.
Well, you just did, Nick. You just
said the problem is crime, and we know who's doing the crime in Chicago. The carjackings, shootings, teen takeovers. We know why there's no business on the Mag Mile anymore, and it's because they steal cars, they drive them through windows. And listen, black people are some of the biggest victims of the black crime. But we're not allowed to talk about it because of the racial dimension.
What do you mean you're not allowed to talk about it? We're talking about it right here.
Hey guys,
you have a platform in which millions of people listen to you, Nick.
I think
after Elon had to buy Twitter and open it up. It wasn't like that before. I was banned from everything for many years. So no, you weren't allowed to. You're right. We can talk about it now, but that's only because the good guys
Nick,
won.
You went from being banned on Twitter to being on YouTube to creating an entire show. I know you're not, but now you have Kick.
So, but then why did you say it? You went to being, and now you're on YouTube. Actually, I'm not on YouTube. I know you're not. But then why did you just say he was on YouTube, Hunter? I think Hunter Biden's going to go back to smoking crack. I think right after this show, he got a hotel room in a crack rock. Oh, man.
And now you have all of these other things. You have an enormous platform.
It's true. He does have an enormous platform. But that's because censorship didn't work. That's probably why they stopped, because every time they would try to censor somebody, it would just make them more powerful and bigger, and then send people into these other platforms where they lose control over what people see and hear. Hunter Biden once again nags Nick Fuentes about the Holocaust. And Jewish identity. Nick explains his current approach to the issue. All right, let's see what this one's about.
For real, what do we do? Can you at least come a little bit to this way?
If you can come a little this way.
I can. Here's where I can.
Oh, they're going to kiss now. They're going to kiss. They're going to fall in love.
Is this. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
About the Holocaust thing?
Oh, about that.
Yeah. No, I mean, really.
I do. And listen, here's what I'll say. Now that I'm older, I do think that's not the best approach. So I agree with you on that. And
funny because I remember when I first started talking about Nick Fuentes, I would get it was some of the biggest streams I ever had at the time. Like there'd be like 60, 100 people waiting before the stream started. And then I would start talking about Nick, and it would be a lot of Nick followers just so fucking angry at me for having the same opinions that Nick now has. Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny how that works? It's literally the same opinion that I love. That's a good screen capture right there, guys. Take a screenshot right there. That's a cookie monster if I've ever seen one. It is like Nick is saying all the fucking things I was saying then, which is like, this is not really a good strategy. You're kind of making everybody look like insane, like we're all a bunch of racists, and like the whole thing is at the heart of everything is racism, and you're playing right into the left's narrative of what we are. And now he's saying all those things. And I think those same people are now also attacking Nick as well for it. So it's funny how things work.
And I see it as I get older, because let's be honest, saying those things when I'm a younger guy, when I'm, 18, 20, it's like, you got to think that's just the age. And a lot of young people think that's funny and everything like that. I think that it also goes with the medium as well. Live streaming, social media, that's just what it rewards. So yeah, I think that people should.
Bro, I didn't even notice the bed behind them. You're right. Like, what is happening after this fucking interview? Like, I guess this is the only angle they could get with the bed behind them. Are they all gonna like Yeah, they're gonna take turns with Nick, tag it up. I mean, I don't know. It is a little creepy with the bed behind him. Is that for the after show, the after podcast show?
Should try to move past some of that.
I'll try, but if you try,
yeah,
okay,
absolutely,
real,
so sweet.
As it relates to when you talk about Israel, the Netanyahu, Likud government, what's happening now, what's happened for the past 20 years in terms of whether the funding to Israel, whether you think it is. It's really important that you make a distinction between that and Jews. Because here's the thing, okay? Zoran Mamdani has a higher favorability rating in the United States among Jews than Bibi Netanyahu does.
Let's not forget how creepy Hunter fucking Biden is, bro. Like, they're trying to normalize him, but this guy is a complete creep who, I don't know, there's a lot of weird shit, like with pictures of him with like kind of women that look like they might have been under, like there's a lot of weird shit, and now it's like, oh, let's normalize Hunter Biden, let's make him popular. And Nick's normalizing it, because I mean, I don't think Nick has a problem with, you know, women under 18. He's kind of got a little bit, some of the shit he's talked about has been a little shady in the past, and now he's defending Andrew fucking Tate, who's a complete slime ball. I don't know. It is a little weird how we're trying to normalize fucking Hunter Biden now, dude. Like, next thing you know, he's going to be running for Senate or some shit. Give it 5-10 years. This dude's probably going to be holding office. Maybe a Senate, or I don't know, maybe he'll run for president or something.
I think 65% of American Jews disagree with the approach that the Israeli government has right now. They don't disagree with you, but they completely turn off when they hear the conflation of Jews, Zionism, Israel, and think automatically anti-Semitism, whether it's fair or not, okay? But you have to understand it. And you have to understand it from a cultural perspective in which the recent history is only one data point in 2,000 years of history as it relates to what it means to be a Jew, of which there is what, 1%, 0.5% of the entire world?
No, California. I think he'll probably follow in his father's footsteps and run for like Senate and this, like a senator in Delaware. And I'm sure Delaware will just be like, oh, great, it's a Biden, let's vote for him.
Population? Because I don't know what it
Delaware
adds
that
to your
Biden
argument,
was a senator
or whether
for?
it adds to your argument about
I forget.
Miriam Adelson being able to give $300 million to Donald Trump and commit to giving another $300 million to get her way, and we end up in a war with Iran.
Yeah, well, and I think that's a valid point. I do think, though, that the issue's broader than just Netanyahu.
Oh, maybe, by the way, obviously, Netanyahu has a base within Israel,
Yeah,
within the
senator.
Jewish community here in the United States, with Jared Kushner. You know what I mean? Jared Kushner, who is unelected, not a member of our government, is having as more control over the direction of the everyday lives of American people right now than anybody that I know of. And meanwhile, all he's doing is building a $6 billion private equity fund with the people he is negotiating for. And I always say, look who's paying him, and wondering whose interest that he is advancing.
It's the worst part about Trump being so fucking terrible in the second term, in betraying America first, in starting stupid wars, is he's opening the door for people like Hunter Biden and all of them to actually come across looking better, because they can be against all the stupid shit that Trump's doing. Like, the worst thing that could happen to America is Trump betraying his base, because we're going to end up with these fucking idiots running things again because of it.
Getting paid by the Saudis.
Hunter for president? I mean, I'm not going to vote for him, but I could see it being possible.
He's paid by the Qataris. He's getting paid. Go down the list. And for some reason, he is in control, along with Steve Witkoff, who is also not elected by anybody, of deciding whether or not the Straits of Hormuz are going to open up, and whether or not our gas prices are going to go down. It may not matter to the three of us necessarily, you know, an extra dollar, 60 cents or 85 cents. But you know what? To 85% of the people that live in America, it means it's the difference between whether or not they're going to be able to pay rent, you know, whether or not you're going to be able to actually put the gas in your car in Montana to drive to your job on the, you know, on the ranch.
Well, and here
I think the biggest issue really is rent, the cost of owning a home. Like, if it was just the gas prices alone going up, yeah, that would suck. That would have an effect on prices for everything that needs to be shipped. But we'd be able to handle it. But you add fucking rent being ridiculously high, everybody needing 2-3 roommates to survive, on top of food being ridiculously high, health insurance being nearly impossible for most people unless their employer covers it. All of that together is really the problem. And then, you know, the cost of gas going up is just the cherry on top. It's like, oh yeah, we're fucking you with 6 inches, but now here comes the fucking 10-incher into your ass. And it's great. It's great. I love it. I love this economy. It's so fun. It's so fun. Are you guys loving this economy? It's great, right?
Here's what I'll say to you, and this is
it's a golden age, boys.
something kind of why I want to do this interview, is emphasize the message that as far as Jews are concerned in general, I think that it's the same.
Yeah, not to mention that, Manda Panda. There's no good jobs, and the jobs you can get, they're still paying the same as like 20 fucking years ago. Meanwhile, everything's going up.
Standard that applies to everybody, which is as long as
AI
you're
is replacing everybody.
as long as you believe Americans should be put first by their government, I have no problem at all. And I think that everybody in the country should be treated with dignity and respect and have their civil rights. It's just this acute problem of these people, like you mentioned, like Larry Ellison and Miriam Adelson and Jared Kushner, they're putting some other country before the interest of our own. And that, in principle, is what I have a problem with.
There is going to be some people who watch this and feel like, all right, no take-backsies. And they might feel like you're just kind of trying to moderate, and that now that you've achieved your goal and got a lot of support, you're kind of moderating because your main aim has already been achieved, which is to sort of have a
Who decided to throw this fucking color scheme on here? I mean, dude. Oh, man, I feel bad for Andrew. Like, what causes that? Like, you have pimples as a kid, and then, like, when you get older, you get all the, like, scarring from the pimples and shit?
generational run and pop off. So now you're trying to kind of make
whose
your way
idea
more
was
into
that?
the mainstream discourse, but that you'll just go back again into the same sort of reactionary rhetoric.
He will. I guarantee you Nick will. Because Nick always, like, when he goes on the bigger shows, he kind of pulls back and he's like, oh, I'm not a racist. I'm not a this or that. And then he gets on his show. And really what he's doing is, like, clip farming. Because he knows, like, if he says, like, outrageous shit that makes everybody go, oh, shit, I can't believe you said that. That's the shit that goes viral. So I'm pretty sure once he gets back on his show, he's going to be right back to the same old Nick.
Once you're back in a number one spot.
Well, I don't even think I'm moderating. And I even told our mutual friend, it's not even a moderation. It's not even an apology. It's clarifying. Because, you know, all along I've been saying this message. It's just that the way that I'm saying it changes and evolves. And I also think how people respond to it changes as well. Because let's be honest, 10 years ago, there was a very different kind of conversation about Israel. You could not mention it in a negative or critical way without being utterly annihilated in politics. We all know that ever since October 7th, that's not the case anymore. So I think that there's sort of something reciprocal happening, which is that people are receiving me differently. And as someone that's growing older and more mature, I'm even representing myself differently. So I wouldn't even call it moderating, just clarifying. People are more receptive and I'm maybe better able to articulate it.
I'm just finding out that John has, like, a great sense of humor. I didn't know you were so funny, John. John went to Iran and apparently he didn't make it back. John's telling us he didn't make it. He's gone. It's okay, John. John, you're still with us. Don't give up the fight, John. John's hilarious, man. I didn't realize John was such a funny dude. Hunter Biden wants Nick Fuentes to take back the cookie joke because his wife and son are Jewish. It is offensive and it is provocative, and that's what makes it funny.
Nick, I can think of about 4 things that I really wish you would take back right now. But
Like
we
what?
did it. The cookies in the oven?
Well, it's a joke.
But it's not, Nick. My wife is Jewish.
But it is a joke. It's just a matter of, like, if you're offended by the joke or not.
My son is Jewish. No,
come on.
Nick. I promise you. Don't get mad.
I'm not mad.
Okay,
It's
I know. But okay. But you got to understand how incredibly, whether it's a joke or not, it's a lived experience passed down from generation to generation, whether or not and by the way, not just from the Holocaust, not just from 1939 on, 2,000 years of history, okay? Forget about Israeli politics and Netanyahu, because I think we agree about Bibi Netanyahu. I'm positive we do. And I've listened to you talk about it. But you got to understand, look at me, man.
I see.
It hurts. It hurts.
Does it?
Nick, I promise you it does. When you compare my wife's family to cookies going to an oven It hurts, and you've got to understand that. And by the way, I'm looking at you, and I believe that you do know that.
See, that's where you lose me. That's where you lose me.
Okay, Nick. Okay, I'm telling you.
Well, listen, are we here to talk, or are you here to lecture me and preach
Okay, no,
to me?
you're right. Let me listen.
Okay.
You're right.
So
You're right.
this is the thing, because, you know, and I think this is a disconnect. I think that the left, and even people on the right, they're losing the young people. Why do people love me, not in spite of, but because of the outrageous things that I say? Not in spite of, but because I say offensive things, because I, let's say, drop the N-word on a video or something. It's because people are sick of the preachiness, the
Nick.
lecturing.
Okay, I'll listen
They
to what
really
you
are.
say. But Nick, I disagree. I think that you're appealing to the lowest common denominator of thought. If you're hating on the people that they think are the reason for their suffering, then you must be on their side. I don't think that you believe that about the Holocaust. I think you think the Holocaust did happen. But forget about whether or not you think that it is used politically in a way that is obtuse and wrong. But I think that you do believe that. And I think that you have to. Like, what's your cultural heritage?
I'm Italian, Mexican, and Irish.
Mexican. When did they come in?
He jumps right into Mexican.
Italian. When did the Mexicans come? When did the Irish come?
Mexicans came turn of the last century.
Yeah.
Italians came in the 1860s.
Yeah.
Irish came in the early 1900s.
Okay, so maybe you wouldn't care about something that is like grossly offensive just on the face of it and think that, oh, why can't people just believe that that's funny? But you got to understand, it's from the perspective of somebody that has that trauma, and I think that there is such a thing as generational trauma, and those stories are passed down generation to generation.
I think you just got to get the fuck over it, bro. That's my opinion. And you need to stop being offended by jokes. Okay? And you'd say, well, it's not a joke. It clearly was a joke. I remember his thing. It's something about like, there's no way you could bake that many cookies that fast or whatever. And it was clearly a joke. And if you're offended by it, okay, great. You have a right to be offended by it. But at the end of the day, jokes are jokes. And I mean, you wouldn't be offended if it was about white people. You wouldn't be offended if somebody made a joke about how many Irish died being thrown into the fields to pick cotton, you know, or whatever the fuck. You know, the Irish went through a lot of shit. If it was about the Irish, nobody'd be offended. But if it's about the Jews, you can't make jokes. Can't joke about the Jews. That's offensive. But you can joke about everybody else. Well, when you do that, especially to somebody like me, and you say, well, this is okay, but that's off limits, that makes me kind of want to do the thing that's off limits.
When you say something like that, they completely shut off. They can't hear another thing that you're saying about this cultural disconnect, about losing communities, about the feeling of being left out or left behind in a world in which there no longer is this sense of community. All the other things that you say. Everybody else is left. And what you do pick up, you pick up the ones that hear the dog whistle. You pick up the ones that say, yeah, that's the way that I feel, because it's radical. It's like he's willing to say the thing that nobody else will say in this environment. And then you get, an enormous amount of niche, but love from that. And I just don't believe that you believe that. I don't believe that you think that it was appropriate for you to say something like that. I don't think you believe that it's appropriate to say women shouldn't vote.
Let's give Nick a second to respond to the first thing.
I know, I talk constantly. That's how I do this.
It's all good.
I apologize.
I get it, and I understand that perspective, and it is offensive, and it is provocative, and that's sort of what makes it funny. I mean, what we would say in our generation is edgelording. We're being edgy. We're being provocative. And I think that it is that kind of overbearing sense for our entire...
Nick, I'm the king of edgelord.
Well, in a certain
provocative.
way.
Oh, shit. The king of edging. The king of smoking crack and edging all day, dude. Yeah, you're the king of that. I think Nick, that's why he said, Nick was like, oh, well, sort of. Yeah. Edging, maybe. Fucking jacking off for 10 hours a day.
Sense for our entire...
Nick, I'm the king of edgelord.
Well, in a certain
provocative.
way.
Let's let Nick explain.
Yeah, I know.
Psychology.
I apologize.
It's that overbearingness that my generation's had our entire lives. That's not appropriate. That's not funny. Think of the trauma. That's racist. That's white supremacist. That makes it funny. That makes it different, interesting. And let me grant, by the way, I think that now and this is maybe a concession towards you, now that my kind of humor has become mainstream and popular, I don't even think that that's funny anymore. People do the edgelording thing. It's become so commonplace and so tired. I don't think it's that funny or impressive. That's a big part of why I kind of moved past it, because 10 years ago, it was treated like sacrilegious. And there's something funny about the fact that you could say a word or make a joke and make people lose their minds and freak out, and it was like an international incident if you said the wrong thing. And I think that's what made it tempting, especially for a young person. You want to rebel, you want to be defiant, you want to be a little revolutionary or something. Now, as time has gone on, I think that's become a fad. Everybody does it. It's lost its power. And I think that, by the way, part of why we're getting less of it is because instead of getting the preachy lecture from the left saying that's not appropriate, people just roll their eyes. Now, when an edgy white person says the N-word, people roll their eyes and...
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, they have already 3 good cameras. Why do they have to have this 4th camera that's like recording at 360p, recording on some fucking Nokia fucking phone from 2004? Like, I get it. Look, you need multiple. If you're gonna heavily edit something and you want it to be like seamless, you need other cameras, you know, to be able to jump so the cuts aren't so obvious. Like, I get the understanding of why you need this, and it allows you, if you want to do some shady editing, it allows you to do some shady editing. But in my opinion, I don't think there's any shady editing going on here. I think they're just editing to cut out the fucking little down points, you know, because everybody's attention span is so bad. If there's like 5 seconds where somebody's trying to think about what they're saying, or they might be stuttering, or they, you know, like, they're going to cut that out. So it's just like the conversation has like no lulls.
Go, really? You know,
We'll find out. I think Nick will say something if there's some shady editing going on here.
Joke again. People hear someone wears a Nazi costume, makes a Holocaust joke. People go, really? That joke again? It's not impressive. It's not funny anymore. We've seen it before. And ironically, that is what makes you get less of it, when you disempower those things by not giving them this over-the-top reaction, pretending like it's some great travesty.
I mean, they seem to be getting along, bro. I just want to know what happened on that bed. At the end of the show, what happened on that bed?
Like, there's so many questions. Like, what do you
the nasty shit I imagine that happened on that bed?
think about the Epstein files? What do you think about the accountability? Or do you think that he's broken the system to the degree that we now are basically in a dictatorship light?
No, I have a lot of confidence, only because I think the Democrats are going to take the House in 26, which I support. I'm telling my people, vote Democrat. We want the Democrats in the House because
I wish we had good options, because we should vote for whoever the best option is. We shouldn't just vote for the fucking, it's like, oh, God betrayed us, so let's vote for Satan. It's like, oh, no, maybe there's a better option here. But yeah, I mean, that's probably why Hunter and like the Democrats are starting to like kind of warm up to Nick and let him back in, because he's like, oh, you're gonna vote for, now you're telling people to vote for Democrats? Okay, let's bring him back in and let's fix his image.
what they're going to do is they're going to use the oversight powers to bring all the corruption to light. Because I know Republicans will watch this, and when you say, we didn't commit crime, they're going to be skeptical. However, for the sake of argument, let's say the income you made during Biden was ill-gotten, for the sake of example.
For the sake of example, we know what the fuck. He was over there with, what was it, Barista or whatever, the fucking Ukrainian oil company. They put him on the board, paying him $30,000 a month. The dude don't know shit about anything. He's selling paintings for like, I don't know how much, I forget the crazy amount of money. Biden was definitely Hunter Biden was definitely getting paid, doing some shady deals for Joe. There's like no doubt about it. But it looks like Trump's doing the same thing. His kids are fucking making a killing too. So I guess that's just the new norm. We got to get used to it. Electing presidents and they do nothing for the people and just enrich themselves. That's the new norm. Got to accept it.
It's just doesn't hold a candle. It doesn't even come close, doesn't even touch Jared Kushner, Howard Lutnick, Steve Witkoff, Don Jr., Trump himself. It's just a...
What's up, motherfucker, Damien?
Super chatted $10. I'm half Native American.
God bless.
Dad was adopted out of a reservation. He anti-colonized my white mother and made me. Am I supposed to whoop my white half? Or shout no and whoop my native half? Lol, Jew logic.
Yeah, that's fine. A lot of people in your situation, like they're almost ashamed of being white. Believe it or not, I have some Native American blood as well. You look at me, but look, I got the high cheekbones. Okay, I'm just like Elizabeth Warren. Okay, no, but I do. According to my mom and all them. It's I forget whatever fucking Native Americans were up in like Canada and like Maine and that area up there northeast. Apparently, I have ancestors that were fucking the natives. Okay. Can't help it. Some of the natives were hot.
Different sport. It's a different game entirely.
Thank you for
and
the 10.
I want all that corruption to be revealed. And I think the Democrats are going to do it. I hope they get impeached. I don't think they'll be removed from office. But I think it'll basically
Algonquins, maybe. I can't ever remember what they were. I have to ask my mom again.
Drag this administration to a halt. And then in 28, I think there's an opportunity for a clean reset with both sides, right and left.
I mean, you see a hot Pocahontas, like, not going to turn that shit down, dude. And, I was thinking about the natives the other day, too, because people were trying to argue with me that hunters and gatherers, even fucking Grok was pulling some stupid scientist saying, the hunters and gatherers got most of their calories from vegetables and berries. And I was like, that's bullshit. What did Native Americans mostly eat? They mostly ate meat. They fucking hunted bison. And what happened to them when all the bison were disappearing? They fucking died out and starved to death. Okay? So if you want to know how hunter-gatherers lived, just look at how Native Americans lived. They weren't eating they weren't getting all their calories from berries and fucking grass, retards.
Like
they're so dumb. So dumb. Nick Fuentes responds to Hunter Biden's claims that speaking about Jews delegitimizes criticism of Israel. Let's be honest, the political left wants to make the Israel issue very narrow, ignoring a broader conversation that has to do with the Holocaust and Jewish identity. Okay.
How do you think like October 7th and the subsequent like pro-Palestine movement and the online worlds it created led to a growing audience on the right?
October 7th in particular?
Well, I've heard bison burgers are amazing. I've never had one, but I'd love to try it.
Well, I think it highlighted and brought to the forefront how captured the right wing is by Israel, which is very unique. I think the Democrats and the Republicans are pro-Israel, but the Republican Party has this inextricable institutional connection with the Israel lobby, with this Likud government in particular. And I think people just started to see the hypocrisies. The hypocrisy was brought to the forefront, which is America first, but not with Israel. No new wars except for with Iran. We're going to be racist and all these things, but don't you dare be anti-Semitic. Don't even, think about it. So I think that on the right wing, it made it unignorable that there's this ideological institutional capture.
I just feel like a lot of straightforward, like just anti-Semite influencers were taking advantage of the post-October 7th discourse to push other ideas, broader ideas about Jewish people as a whole.
Well, I mean, I think it's hard to ignore some of those other conversations. I know that it's now become maybe in vogue to say that the Israel issue is very narrow. It's just Netanyahu. It's just the Likudniks. It's just the Israel lobby. But, what would you say about someone like Larry Ellison? I mean, somebody like that, I don't think fits neatly into this, let's say, problem of Netanyahu.
As far as installing Barry Weiss and whatnot.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Because this is somebody who's not Israeli. He's not even a religious Jew, but he's ethnically Jewish and has this deep affinity for the state of Israel and is using and mobilizing his power and resources and connections to benefit Israel in the private sector. And so if you were to say, what's a law that we could pass to prevent that kind of influence, what would it look like? He's an American citizen. He can't buy a media company and hire Barry Weiss to run CBS News. And yet we recognize that's a big problem.
I just feel the conflation of like anti-Zionism and like Holocaust denial played into the hands of the Israeli propaganda apparatus.
You know how I feel about Andrew, but he's kind of right there. Like when you start sounding like an actual fucking retard who's just like, the Jews, the Jews, the Jews, the Jews. They take that and they make that the face of everything that criticizes Israel. It's very effective. It seems to be a very effective strategy.
Because then they can say, hey, look, these people that oppose what we're doing in Palestine also don't think the Holocaust happened. It's a big jump in the public perception.
It was almost to me as if that was your intent, to lose any legitimacy about any argument as it relates to Israel and the Likud government, is to say those edgelording things or whatever. I don't know anybody that can hear you after you say that, including myself. It delegitimizes everything, because I don't think that you a little bit of more compassion.
Let's try to stay a little. I don't want to do any character attacks on Nick.
I'm not attacking.
Are Andrew and Nick fucking? I don't know. I mean, Andrew's like getting Nick's back. That's interesting. That's interesting.
His character. I'm not attacking. I promise you. I'm
no,
not.
but as far as compassion, I more just mean straightforward. Do you feel like the rise in anti-Semitic online influencers post October 7th has given Israel more ammunition to work with in terms of casting everyone who opposes what they're doing as just like a rabid Jew hater?
In some cases, yeah, in some cases, sure. But I also think that's overstated because I think that, look, let's just be honest. I do believe the political left wants to make the Israel issue very narrow. And they want to say that the issue is this genocide in Palestine. And on some level, they think that the Israeli government is racist. And that's the problem. And I think that ignores that there is a broader conversation. And it does have to do with the Holocaust. And it does have to do with Jews as such. And Jewish nationalism and Jewish identity. So to try to shoehorn it in and say, well, if anybody goes further than this very narrow critique of Israel, well, they're actually helping Israel, I don't agree with that. I think we have to unpack the whole conversation.
Well, do you care a lot about Palestinians?
Not more than I care about anybody else.
Well, at least he's not going to lie about that. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, what else we got here? Looks like I got this one out of order here. We'll watch that one last. Facing Hunter Biden, don't know whether he's soft pedaling to go mainstream. Nick Fuentes says he's clarifying, not apologizing. Okay, let's watch it.
To everybody, which is as long as you're patriotic, as long as you believe Americans should be put first by their government, I have no problem at all. And I think that everybody in the country should be treated with dignity and respect.
The problem is all the politicians are going to say that. Of course, they're going to be like, we need to put Americans' interests first. And then they get into office and we're like at the bottom of the list of things they give a fuck about.
And have their civil rights. It's just this acute problem of these people, like you mentioned, like Larry Ellison and Miriam Madeley.
Yeah, I think we saw this clip already. Let's move on. Some of them might be doubled up. Nick Fuentes agrees with Hunter Biden on Trump's cruelty.
And you said, I like the cruelty. I do not like the cruelty.
No, by the way, no. I didn't say you liked the cruelty. I said I'm listening to your thing, and you said one of the things that you liked about Levin was the cruelty. And not for the cruelty's sake, it didn't seem to me like this, is because it was raw.
Dazzling,
yeah. And that's so I'm not saying that.
No, but I agree. I think he is cruel. And even what he said on Easter. I mean, we're Catholic. On Easter Sunday, he says we're going to annihilate Iran, and then he made fun of Allah. On Easter Sunday. So
then didn't he also post an image of him like as like Jesus Christ? Didn't he do that as well? Trump is a prick. Okay. We were hoping he'd be our prick. Like every now and then it's good to kind of have an asshole on your side when shit gets tough. You need those assholes to fight for you. But it didn't work out the way we hoped. And now he's doing this thing where he's like, whatever I do, MAGA's going to agree with. MAGA just, they follow me wherever I go. It's like, yeah, the little tiny cult that's left of MAGA that you fucking destroyed. Yeah, they'll follow you, but good luck with that.
Oh, that kind of stuff, it just totally turned me off entirely.
Is there anything that you think Trump can do to like regain the support of the, I guess, Gen Z and millennial right?
No, it's over. People see what he's made of. And Hunter's right. He's a liar. He is a liar. He is a bullshit artist. And especially, you look at what he did with the Epstein files, with the war in Iran, what he did to Thomas Massie, you realize that if you are America first, you have no place in this Republican Party. Because he said it. He said our Republican Party, or rather, he said MAGA is Mark Levin, Laura Loomer, Randy Fine. He said, and who is not MAGA? Megyn Kelly, Tucker, Alex Jones, Candace. And I think most Republicans said, well, we're with those other people.
It'll be interesting, man, how things turn out. It really is. Like, I really hope the neocons don't just take over again, the Republican Party. And I think it's going to be a tough battle for the neocons to take over because they really can't win elections the way they used to. So they have to, like, worm their way in behind the scenes and, like, control whoever's president. But it's going to be interesting. I mean, I wonder where we're going to be in 2030. Like, who's going to be running the country then? I mean, it's interesting. I'm sure it's not going to be good.
I guess, from high school.
Can you do a little bit?
Un poco.
Okay,
I don't speak it from my dad, so.
Okay, cool.
Just from high school.
Yeah, a lot of people, that's kind of like their...
Un poco. Un poquito? Mi español un poquito. Por favor, señor.
At Thigophilas44 super chatted
What's up, buddy?
$4.99. LeBron to the Sixers. Even more reason to hate Philadelphia.
I thought he was retiring already, bro. Like, who fucking cares? To me, the whole argument, like Jordan versus LeBron is nowhere near as good as Jordan. Jordan is still the fucking GOAT, and LeBron, I guess you could call him the baby GOAT. I don't know. I mean, I think LeBron's not even as good as Kobe. Fucking LeBron. That's one thing I agree with Trump. Trump is Team Jordan. Trump, I mean, he had nothing else to talk about. So, like, there's this clip of him talking about LeBron versus Jordan. He's like, oh, I'm Team Jordan. Yeah, I'm Team Jordan too. Fuck LeBron.
They're a bullseye smoking gun when they're hating on it.
I guess, from high school.
Can you do a little bit?
Thank you for the chat, brother.
Un poco.
Okay,
I don't speak it from my dad, so.
Un poco. The fuck is un poco? I'm thinking he's thinking un poquito. Mi español un poquito. Means you speak a little bit.
Okay, cool.
Just from.
I don't know. I don't know. My Spanish is terrible as well. I know like the basics. I can be like, excúsame, señor. El baño?
High school.
A lot of
barely
people,
get
that's
by.
kind of like their bullseye smoking gun when they're hating on you. They're like, he's a white supremacist, but he's Mexican.
Yeah.
Did you grow up like around a lot of Mexicans?
No, all white people for the most part.
Did they know you were Mexican?
They did. And I'm not going to lie, I mean, people made fun of me for that.
What'd they say?
Well, like, for example, one time.
It's funny. I grew up around a lot of Mexicans. I mean, I did move a lot, so there was periods where I was around a lot of white people, but in my main hometowns of, I've had like two hometowns, Corpus Christi and San Antonio. I mean, if you're from this area, you know, Mexicans dominate, you know, Hispanics, Latinos, they dominate. Okay. And I was constantly made fun of for being a white boy, especially on the south side of San Antonio. I went to this school, Kaise Middle School, where I was literally one of like two white kids. The other kid that was white, his name was Roque, and he spoke fluent Spanish. He was actually from Mexico, and his family came to America, and they left him alone because, I mean, he was more, even though he was white, he was more Mexican than most of the South San Antonio Hispanics. But yeah, I was, I mean, I don't like to say racism, but it was, some people would say it was racism. And yeah, I don't hold a grudge, whatever. Get over it, okay? But it was always, fucking white boy. Fucking white. But they would get mad, especially when I'd beat them at basketball. Because at that time, I was a bit of a little basketball freak. I would play a lot. And then I would kick their ass at basketball. And then they would get really upset that this fucking white boy kicked their ass in basketball.
When I was in Model UN,
Yeah, my hair was a lighter shade of red. It's kind of gotten a little darker. My hair color has changed a lot since I got older. I got to find a picture of me as a younger kid.
I was entering high school as a
But it was never like bright red.
freshman. They looked at my name on the roster without knowing me. And they told me this after the fact, the leadership of the club. They said, oh, we thought you were just some Mexican kid, so we gave you a bad committee assignment.
Wow.
But see, I heard that and I laughed. I said, that's funny. You know, whereas a lot of people would say, oh, that's traumatic. I'm a victim of racism. You know, I think that's, you know, it's just a human thing.
Yeah, I always felt like growing up as like a white
Nick,
kid in America.
What if you went? Wait. What if you were and identified as being Mexican, and they came to you and they didn't tell you that's the reason that they gave you all the bad committee assignments?
That would be unfair.
Yeah.
It's
That's
interesting.
the
I'm just
point.
saying.
That's
Well,
the whole point, isn't it?
and
so
I'm
you
not-
may find it funny because you pass as a white Anglo-Christian.
Do you think I pass?
What?
You think I pass as a white Anglo-Christian?
Well, I not only think you
Yeah,
pass, I think you
yeah.
identify as it. Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. No, but really, for real. And my
dumb.
point is that I heard you do an interview, okay? And I
It's so dumb. Nick Fuentes believes woke wasn't all bad, huh? What? Is Nick just going full leftist at this point?
Do you think the new counterculture is going to be woke again?
No, I think it's a synthesis.
A synthesis of post-edgelordism and wokeism?
Yes, because I think that wokeism
Sounds
had
good to
its
me.
excesses. Edgelording also has its excesses. And I think now we're finding a middle ground between saying the edgiest thing we can think of with no regard for anyone and saying everything is racist. You know, if you say something, you should lose your job. We're finding a middle ground where, you know, maybe it's tastefully offensive in small doses, less is more.
So it sounds like you believe in the survival of the American experiment.
Yeah, I really do. And listen, I don't think everything about wokeism was bad necessarily.
What's the best thing about wokeism?
I think that genuinely it has made people more respectful and empathetic. Because let's be honest, 20 years ago, let's say when I was growing up, I think there was a lot of cruelty. And I think there were some hateful attitudes. And I think as time has gone on, this younger generation, they may not be even left-wing. They may not be what you'd consider woke, but I think they are respectful of people that have different ideas or, a different way of life or from a different culture. We make jokes all the time about the fact that I'm like a far-right guy and I'm Mexican. People say I'm a white supremacist, I'm Mexican. And people make a joke that a lot of far-right people are Hispanic. And I think that's a consequence that there's very little genuine racial hatred in anybody's DNA anymore, or any kind of hatred. And I think that's positive, but that went too far. I think some of the other stuff went too far as well.
It's just reality that as humans, we have like a tribal nature, okay? And you're not going to get away from that. And it's okay when you're part of the tribe and you're treating people that are different, not part of your tribe for whatever reason, whether they look different or they speak different, or, whatever it is, if you're in the tribe, it's okay. But the moment you're not in the tribe and you're getting treated badly or unfairly because you're not in the tribe, then, let's make a whole deal out of it. And the worst thing that happens is that the people come out of that with a victim mentality, right? Like, and I always refuse to do that. Like, I refuse to go, a bunch of Mexicans made fun of me because I was white. And, because that's a victim mentality. That's not good for me. That's not good for my future to go around going, well, I'm a victim and this is why everything sucks. And then people adopt this mentality where like they take no responsibility for themselves and everything is everybody else's responsibility. It's all, because white people, it's all because white racist cops. It's all because white racist society. It's all because, the white man and they own all the institutions. And like, even if it's true, that mindset is toxic to the person that has that mindset. And you're not doing any favors to minorities or whoever it is that's in the out group by accepting that mindset and being like, kind of helping them to push it along and like be in that mindset. You need to fight back against it and be like, hey, that's not the right mindset for you. Like, if you want to be successful and you want to overcome the hardships that life throws at you, that life throws at everybody, you gotta fucking not have a victim mentality. You can't be poor me and, it's everybody else's fault. You got to fucking man up and just be like, hey, life is hard. People are fucking cruel. And I have to overcome that. And I got to be better than those people and not do the same shit those people did. But you definitely can't have a fucking victim mentality, man. You got to throw that shit away.
New counterculture is going to be woke again?
No, I think it's a synthesis.
A synthesis of post-edgelordism and wokeism?
Yes, because I think that wokeism had its excesses. Yeah. Edgelording also has its excesses. And I think now we're finding a middle ground between saying the edgiest thing we can think of with no regard for anyone and saying everything is racist. If you say something, you should lose your job. We're finding a middle ground where, maybe it's tastefully offensive in small doses, less is more.
So it's a perfect example of the black community, right? Okay. The moment white people get a little tribal and maybe they don't treat black people as the in group and they treat them as other, it's a huge problem. And the world needs to be blown up and everything's just bad. But if they do it and they have their little tribal shit and they keep white people out, and then it's fine. Then it's all good. Like, this is just the way humans are. And you got to just, I don't know. You got to find a way to deal with it. And there's always exceptions to that shit. Like, when I was the one of the few white kids in school, there was a lot of cool Mexicans who I became friends with, a lot of cool Hispanics who didn't fucking, treat me like shit just because I was a white boy among a bunch of Hispanics. And it's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just, at the end of the day, the biggest problem is it leads to that victim mentality bullshit. And it's just not good for people to see the world that way.
It sounds like you believe in the survival of the American experiment.
Yeah, I really do. And listen, I don't think everything about wokeism was bad.
It's true, Kirk Lozano. White people do it less than pretty much everybody else right now because we've been bullied so hard for being, if you are white and being tribal and being like, hey, we just want to keep to our white communities and all that. Like, that's like the greatest sin ever committed in the world, So white people were bullied out of doing that. And it was like, okay, well, I understand it to a certain point. If everybody else, the minorities join in on that, and we all see each other as Americans, and we stop caring about skin color, because who gives a fuck about skin color? It's just some outward characteristic that's, overly fucking emphasized. Then like, yeah, okay, that'd be great. But no, it was just us. It was just us who threw away the tribalism, and everybody else got more tribal. And it's like, okay, well, eventually white people are going to see that, and they're going to go, well, we got to return to being tribal again.
Necessarily.
What's the best thing about wokeism?
I think that genuinely it has made people more respectful and empathetic. Because let's be honest, 20 years ago, let's say when I was growing up, I think there was a lot of cruelty. And I think there were some hateful attitudes. And I think as time has gone on, this younger generation, they may not be even left-wing. They may not be what you'd consider woke, but I think they are respectful of people that have different ideas or, a different way of life or from a different culture. We make jokes all the time about the fact that I'm like a far-right guy and I'm Mexican. People say I'm a white supremacist, I'm Mexican.
Did we see this clip already? I think we did. Well, we'll finish. Only like 15 seconds left.
And people make a joke that a lot of far-right people are Hispanic. And I think that's
But they're white now. I should have saved it. There's this guy who was going through all these arrest records, and like everybody was listed as white. If you have a slightly Hispanic name, even if you're black with dreadlocks, but you have a last name that's sort of Hispanic, you're white. Everybody. So the Hispanics are just white people now.
Consequence that there's very little genuine racial hatred in anybody's DNA anymore, or any kind of hatred. And I think that's positive, but that went too far. I think some of the other stuff went too far as well.
Got more? Nick Fuentes says AI will be transformative, but he's concerned about the concentration of power. Yeah, AI is going to be shady, bro.
I don't know. I think AI is going to really be transformative. It's interesting. Nobody seems to be talking about that.
Transformative in what sense? Like for bad?
Concentration of power. That's the single biggest. And you know what? I'm actually on the liberal side on this with Anthropic. Over the, let's say, because there's this battle between these effective altruists, effective accelerationists, and I really am nervous about what's going to happen, especially in the next 4 years, because they're racing towards this artificial general intelligence, artificial superintelligence, and that, without a doubt, is going to be the single biggest influence on the country, and so I'm really worried about that.
And what about that concerns you? Is it surveillance?
It's the concentration of power in the hands of whoever controls it. Whichever firm is the one to develop ASI, that could confer dictatorial-like powers upon the CEO of that company. So whether that's Sam Altman or it's Dario, if the artificial intelligence is aligned with its creator, that person will become the most powerful person in the history of mankind on
It's almost
that
an
day.
inherent truth, in my opinion, what he just said, is that the greatest leap in human evolution is going to happen within our lifetimes. AGI, let alone superintelligence, is everything that we think about the way in which we exist in the world completely changes. And I don't think that that's in any way hyperbole. And if you listen to the people that are developing these technologies right now, they are the most alarmist. And now, by the way, I think that there's an enormous possibility for incredibly beneficial things to society, like being able to cure cancer. I just think of it.
AI is going to cure cancer? By what? By just collecting a bunch of data off the internet and then shoving that data back in your face? Like this idea that the AI is going to be this fucking god that's like super intelligent. I don't think that's the case. I think it's overstated in that way. It's basically automating everything so that like they don't need workers. And it's going to be worse than if we actually had human workers. Every experience I've had with AI, I mean, it's just like, look at all the AI algorithms that are like moderating everything now. How many fucking mistakes does it make? It's constantly making mistakes. And I don't know, maybe it'll get better. Like, imagine how good it's going to be in a year or two. I think it's a little overplayed. Especially the idea that this AI is going to be this like super intelligence. It's going to be like a god on earth. It's like, they probably want us to think that, so we'll worship it and listen to it and be like, just do whatever the AI tells you. And it's just some fucking retard programming it what to say in the background. I don't know. I'm a little skeptical of these people who play it up like it's going to be, like something out of a sci-fi movie. It's going to be this like godlike intelligence that like pushes humanity into the next sphere. I'm sure it'll be helpful in some ways, but I think it's going to be terrible in many more ways than it is helpful.
This one thing, everything that AI is built on is ours. Belongs to you, and you, and you, all the way back through the human civilization. That's what they're stealing from us, and they're putting it into the hands of literally a handful of people. All of that human knowledge, and the value that comes from it. And I think that that's ours. So any AI that is developed, particularly that goes to HEE, should be communal. It should be shared in the not just the beneficial offshoots of it, but the actual money of it should be shared.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think it's like nuclear bombs, but it's also a commodity at the same time. The weapons potential, the economic potential, I think that's going to be the biggest thing. And I hope on some level that liberals win that argument, because, you know, what Trump is doing with the Pentagon, Anthropic, and OpenAI, the way they're handling it is so reckless and sloppy and just honestly unbelievable.
Isn't AI responsible for us blowing up that little girls' school in Iran? Because didn't they use AI to basically pick out all the targets? And the AI picked out a target that like 20 years ago used to be some military shit, but now it's a girls' school, and then now we bomb a girl. Hey, good job, AI. Good job.
So
that's what I've heard. I don't know. That could be not true.
We need some adults in the room on that one.
Yeah, I'm going to hold my breath about cancer being cured. I don't think they want cancer to be cured, bro. You know, I mean, there's certain things where it seems like they constantly just come up with like Band-Aids for the symptoms. Well, take this and your symptoms will go away, but you got to take it for the rest of your life. It's like they don't want to cure anything anymore. They just want to give you a drug that makes it a little more tolerable, whatever you're going through, that you now have to be paying every fucking for the rest of your life. You got to pay in to get that drug. That seems to be the new norm, because hey, you know, it's just like software. Why just sell people software that they own now when we can give them a fucking monthly subscription? And now they're paying for the rest of their life. Everything's monetized, and it's about how much money they make. It's not about, hey, how can we make the world better? It used to be that way. Businessmen, scientists, they used to actually go, how can I make the world better and create something that, now it's like, how can I make something that's going to make me $1 billion? And sometimes making $1 billion doesn't always align with making humanity better. So I don't know. I don't think they're in the business of curing anything anymore. Nick Fuentes explains why he wouldn't run for office. Yeah, I don't think Nick could win. I think Nick's got too many edgy boy clips if he was to run. And
would either of you guys ever run for office?
Are you asking me for real?
Yeah.
No.
That's bullshit. I think Hunter's going to be running for. I think he'll win if he runs for like senator in Delaware.
I think that politics, the way that my dad engaged in it, and I'm obviously incredibly biased, is an incredibly noble thing. But that's not. It's not where my head is in terms of what I want to do. I want to reach. My whole thing is that forget all of this. I want to reach 1 million people in addiction. I think one of the biggest things about addiction, and one of the reasons why it continues to be this epidemic, is that we don't talk about it. Is that you don't even talk about it around your dinner table. And what you realize, if you're coming from my particular unique situation, is that everybody comes to me and they tell me their story. And sharing that is like, breaks that cycle of shame. And so I want to reach 1 million people in addiction.
How about you, Nick? Would you ever run for office?
I don't think so, no. Just because I don't think you can fully be authentic when you're running for office, because it's a different role. And I think my role, they say, according to the Overton window idea, they say that if you want to change people's opinions and what they consider acceptable, you kind of have to be the first to the punch and maybe considered a bad person or evil or whatever in order to promote your view. And so that just doesn't lend itself to that kind of politics. So I think to protect my own integrity and authenticity of the message, I have to not run for office.
See what we just did? We just made probably the entire audience happy. One half is glad I'm not running. The other half is really glad he's not running.
I don't believe Hunter's. I believe Nick's probably not going to run, but I believe Hunter at some point will run. Beware of the convert. Hunter Biden loves Nick's assessment of J.D. Vance.
Whenever you talk about Trump, sometimes you explain this like nightmare scenario that revolves around a Vance presidency.
Yes.
What about J.D. Vance being in power scares you so much?
If Trump doesn't have an ideological core, then Vance really doesn't, because Vance is a chameleon. That's not his real name, for openers. never had a real job. These are all sinecures given to him by Peter Thiel. 6 years ago, he's a never Trumper. Now he's a national conservative, national populist. And so we don't even really know who he is. I mean, to me, this is basically a Manchurian candidate. This is a shell. And who is the power behind him? It's the oligarchs. It's the little tech oligarchs in bed with the CIA, especially at this fever pitch with AI. I think that's really dangerous. So to me, him being president is just a worse scenario in my mind.
The only people I can think of right now are like Massey and Kent. I mean, that'd be interesting, but I don't know if they could ever win, bro.
The uninformed viewer, what is the Palantir-JD Vance connection?
Well, Palantir was founded by Peter Thiel, and Peter Thiel's very close with David Sachs. J.D. Vance was given his first job in Silicon Valley by Thiel. Thiel hooked him up with it. The CEO of that company said it was a personal favor to Thiel that I hired him. And then Thiel got him all his jobs at these various venture capital firms, including his own, and then funding J.D. Vance's venture capital firm. Peter Thiel gave $15 million to Vance when he ran for Senate in Ohio in 22. Peter Thiel secured President Trump's endorsement for him in 22, which basically got him the nomination and the seat. So, I mean, as far as anybody's concerned, Vance owes his entire political career to Peter Thiel, who derives his fortune from Palantir.
And now he's a Catholic like you and me.
Well, he's a convert, so,
Beware the convert.
Yeah.
Interesting. Nick Fuentes explains his political strategy to Hunter Biden. I have a lot of confidence only because the Democrats are going to take the House in 26, which I support. I'm telling my people to vote Democrat. I think we saw that one already. Nick Fuentes says the radicalization of Trump supporters was self-inflicted by the people who canceled them. Okay.
Is that correct?
Yeah, and I would say that you got to get into the psychology of those days. It felt like anybody that wasn't on board with the most progressive agenda had no options. There was just no alternative. It was going to be progressive, liberal, feminist, BLM, all that kind of stuff. And if you were to the right of John McCain, you're no platformed. Censored, banned from all the platforms, you're fired from your job, you're ostracized socially.
This is true.
And I think what happened really in 2021 when Trump got banned from the platforms is it felt like 70 million people got canceled. 70 million people that voted for Trump, or 60, 70 million people, we were all felt like, oh, so if Trump is out of politics and we're all banned from the platforms, then how is there any redress for our grievances? Do we just have to shut up and get with the program and we're all going to be progressive? And I think that drove people to a far more radical place where people said, well, what really is a solution? We can't talk. We can't express ourselves. We can't participate in the process or run for office. And I was one of the people saying...
MFN Damien super chatted
He's right.
$10.
What's up, Damien?
Wasn't my namesake president in one of the Omen sequels? If life favors the most absurd possibilities, maybe I should run for office and work my way up. John Redcorn 2032, I'm working for you, not the Jew.
Yeah, motherfucking Damien. I mean, shit, dude. I think, I don't know. Like, if you really care about this country and you think you are the type that can get in there and stand up for what's right and not give in to the special interest and walk away with a bag and trade and sell out the American people, then yeah, you should probably run for office because we need people like that. We need people that are willing to be soldiers and get into office and actually go, hey, you know what? Fuck you. Fuck all of your money. We're actually going to fucking clean this shit up. And we need that. And it's so rare to find that because most people will sell out. That's just human nature. Most people will take the bag and make sure they take care of their family and just say, fuck everybody else. But we need a soldier-like mentality to actually start getting into office and be willing to fucking die to fix this fucking country. And yeah, but good luck finding people like that. And most people like that, they don't want to run for office.
Radical place where people said, well, what really is
It's all
a
the worst
solution?
that do.
We can't talk,
Thank you,
we can't
motherfucking
express
Damien.
ourselves, we can't participate in the process or run for office. And I was one of the people saying that's exactly what's going to happen. It's going to drive people to extremism. If you don't talk, if people don't feel like they have a seat at the table and enfranchisement, I think then they start exploring options outside the system, outside of the political process, the democratic process. So I think it's self-inflicted in many ways.
He's right. I agree with what you're saying there. What do we got next? Nick Fuentes explains to Hunter Biden why he supported and then abandoned Donald Trump. Okay.
My question is,
To me, it's pretty obvious. Like, where's the clip? I'll play this clip real quick, and then we'll get back to that. This is what we voted for.
These globalists want to squander all of America's strength, blood, and treasure chasing monsters and phantoms overseas. In addition, there must also be a complete commitment to dismantling the entire globalist neocon establishment that.
What happened to that commitment? You got into office and you just became a neocon and allow them to basically dictate our foreign policy. It's like, but this, the fucking Trump cultists now, they like to pretend like this was not what he ran on, when this is absolutely what he ran on. No new wars, talking shit about neocons, calling out the neocons, and then he gets in his second term. All of a sudden, he just becomes a fucking neocon.
Is perpetually dragging us into endless wars, pretending to fight for freedom and democracy abroad. We should have never gone into the Middle East. We should have never gone into the Middle East. Under my leadership, we will turn the page forever on those foolish, stupid days of never-ending wars. We're rebuilding our military stronger than ever before, and we are not going to deplete it again on stupid, senseless, endless wars.
This makes me want to cry. What happened, bro?
At Cybertwitch super chatted $1.99. It hurts to watch Ping loudly crying.
It does, bro. It hurts because it's like, bro, this was the promise. This is why we got on board. Because if he would have just been a regular Republican and he would have not went after the neocons and not called out the wars, I never would have voted Republican. I was just done, dude. I mean, after Bush and all that, I was like, these neocons are just fucking selling out the country. They're just enriching themselves while they destroy the country, getting fucking our youth killed at every turn, going overseas to fight dumb wars. And then he becomes president the second term, and he just becomes exactly what he rallied against.
World War III has never been closer than it is right now. We need to.
And this is literally him right before taking office. Like, this is not him first term. Like, look, you can tell he's old as fuck in this. So this is him. I don't know the exact time frame, but this is like right before taking office, I believe, or like sometime around taking office or right before he took office.
Clean house of all of the warmongers and America last globalists and the deep state. I am the president who delivers peace. I was the first president in decades who didn't start a war. And the worst, most incompetent, most corrupt president in history is going to drag us into World War III. And this horrible, horrible president is dragging us toward World War III. We're going to be in World War III soon. Because I think we would have been good with Iran. I don't want to do anything bad to Iran. Large sections of the Middle East. I mean, look at the death and destruction that's taken place. And none of this would have happened if I were president. Our opponents join with warmongers and neocons to wage endless wars, these wars that never end. Together we're fighting to secure our borders, end the endless foreign wars, and defend the working people of America. But the Muslim and Arab voters in Michigan and across the country want a stop to the endless wars and a return to peace in the Middle East. That's all they want. Speaking of World War III, I'll keep you out of World War III. What would happen if we had a war? We won't, with me, but you will have World War III, I believe, without me, but we won't have. I will be sure that World War III will not happen. I'm the only one can say it won't happen. But I stand here today, and I'm the only candidate who can make this promise. I will prevent, and very easily, World War III, very easily.
That's one thing, like, if you could ever get access to knowledge or, like, understanding the whole big picture of what the fuck happened, I'd like to know, please, what the fuck happened? What changed? Was it the assassination attempts? Was it blackmail because you did some shit with Epstein? Were you always planning the second term to just pull the rug out from under your followers? Were you always lying? Or do presidents not really run things and he just has to play ball with whatever the real powers that be want? Otherwise, I don't know, man. I'd love to know. I'd love to watch that movie and figure out what the fuck happened, bro. Because it's so disappointing. Where do we leave off here?
At Metal2JS420
What's up,
super
Metal?
chatted $5. Iran war may not be great. Trump is still a great president and did a lot of good things for US thongs that would never have happened without him.
For the thongs? Yeah, I mean, thank you for the super chat, Metal. I appreciate the 5. I'm not very happy with Trump, and anything he did good, it doesn't matter at this point. He's done so much bad at this point that it's overwritten any good he's done. I mean, yeah, okay, the border is better. Okay, good. Did he fix the economy? No, he's made the economy worse. I mean, 2 of the biggest disasters of my lifetime happened under Trump. COVID, and now the complete disaster of inflation, the economy. And you could blame it on Biden, but COVID was a big part of it. Trump decided, hey, we're gonna let everybody shut down the world and not go to work, and we're just gonna start cashing checks out to everybody. Here's a check for you. Here's a check for you. Like, Trump has huge responsibility for this inflation. Okay, but yeah, okay, he did a good job at the border, even though he hasn't gotten near deporting the amount of people that we need to deport. Where did I leave off here? Okay, I think it was this one. Yeah, this one right here.
My question is
thank you for the 5,
how did you
Metal.
not see that before? He was a disaster in 2020, a complete and utter disaster as it related to what he did with COVID. Regardless of whether you think we were wearing a mask or not.
The question for Nick is, how did you not realize 6 years ago that Trump would be this sort of letdown?
Because he doesn't hold, there's no ideological core to Donald Trump.
No, I agree with you. Yeah. Well, you got to realize in 2016 where Republicans were at. We had John McCain, we had Mitt Romney, and the perception on the right is that they were insufficiently conservative and that they were losers. All they do is lose because they don't fight.
And honestly, if you're a fucking honest person, Hunter Biden, you should be asking the Democrats, hey, why couldn't you have put up a better candidate so we could have actually defeated Trump? You put up Hillary Clinton. Dog shit's more popular than Hillary Clinton. Joe Biden, you needed to steal the election and fucking bring about all these election changes for him to win. And then Kamala
super chatted $9.99 ever since 2008, and especially with PPP loans. Money printer goes burr. You don't come back from that.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to drastically fucking change and like start actually acting like you're you believe in small government and cutting down government and like you could fix it if you had a government that wanted to, but they don't. They don't. That's not in their interest to fix it. It's in their interest to keep printing money to enrich themselves while impoverishing the rest of the country. And thank you for the $9.99, brother. That's very, very, very kind of you. Thank you, guys.
Just perception that the Democrats are ruthless. Fighters. Obama crushed in 2008, crushed when we thought he really should have lost in 2012. That was a Republican perception that Romney let us down. And so when Trump came on the scene in 2016, it was new, it was refreshing. He seemed like somebody that was really going to take on not just the Democrats, but also the media.
About the printing money. I've heard, I got to look this up to see how accurate this is, that 25% of our debt has come about from Trump. Trump has increased our fucking national deficit by 25% in his time in office.
Media
I'll look
on
up
our
how
behalf.
accurate that is.
And what's more, you got to think about the mood of the moment in 16 as well, and the message Trump was giving. Trump said in 16, it's just me and my son and my wife. We don't have any donors. We don't have any special interests. We're going to put America first, make the country great again. This is a very appealing message, and I talk all the time on my show about it, and realizing now that it was obviously a scam and now obviously unfulfilled completely. And you're right, Trump is non-ideological. The message was brilliant because it said, one, the system is broken. America's not great anymore, but it used to be. We can make it great again, but in order to do it, we need to actually bypass the system. Why is it that we never have victories? Why is it that things don't change? Because of money. He said, and that's why I'm different. I'm rich. I'm a billionaire.
It's 20%, not 25%. 7.8 trillion. 7.8 trillion under Trump we've added to the deficit, which is 20% of today's total debt. So, not 25. Oops, it's only 20.
If I self-fund my campaign and don't take super PAC money, then I won't have to listen to the lobbyists and the special interests. I could fire the people I need to fire, do the things I need to do. That was like a very powerful message in 2016. And after 4 years, I was one of the people even back then that said, look, it never materialized. He did wind up taking super PAC money. He took AIPAC money, for that matter, Sheldon Adelson money at that time in 16. Even in the first term, bombed Iran. In the first term, didn't build the wall. In the first term, didn't even reduce illegal immigration until 2019. And I remember the timeline perfectly because I covered it every day. It was like in May and June 2019, 20-year illegal immigration high in terms of month over month. But why did I go for him in 2020? At the height of the pandemic, we all thought on the right that if anyone other than Trump was president, you were going to get a vaccine mandate, which we really didn't want to be forced to take the vaccine. We thought the lockdown might never end. We thought that censorship would kick into overdrive. And so we said, really, it's unacceptable that anyone other than Trump would just be a disaster. And then obviously Biden came in, and I don't think it was as bad as we thought it would be, to tell you the truth, honestly. But by 2024, I mean, I was out in 2024 because everything you're saying is totally true. And I was telling people on my side, I was saying he's not going to build the wall. And I know you're against that. He's not going to do the mass deportations, promising that. He's not going to start no new wars. I said in 24, he's going to take us to war in Iran. And the Ukraine war, I said, that's not going to end in one day. Too complicated. We're already in it. And so I didn't vote. I didn't vote in 2024. And I told my followers not to vote for Trump for that reason. And it was only until a year later, after all the exuberance died down and people saw the bearing of the Epstein files, the war in Iran, people said, you know what? You were right. You were right about Trump. Even Alex Jones told me you were right about Trump. I was all in on him. So, I mean, as far as him being vaporware is concerned and a scammer and fundamentally, you're 100% right. No ideological core.
My question.
Who really has an ideological core anyway? It's just like, do your polling, figure out what the people want to hear, and then virtue signal like you're going to actually address the problems that are the most important to the American people, so you get elected, and then you cash that check as soon as you get elected, and you just make a bunch of money, and you leave the American people fucking hanging. You leave them holding the bag. You rug pull them. That's what it is now. That's politics. Nick Fuentes and Hunter Biden discuss Zoran Mamdani's campaign. Okay.
What do you think about somebody like Mamdani?
Personally, I don't like him. I don't like some of the things that he said, like, for example, on 4th of July, when he takes the opportunity to sit there with, let's be honest, not a single white person in the room and says, you know, the founding fathers would look down on us, the working people with their dirt-streaked hands against the billionaires. I think it's a little too divisive. I like his energy. I like that he's young. It's ironic. Yeah, okay, fair enough.
That's rich, buddy. But no, look.
But it seems pointed at me.
I know, but but the thing.
He was dissing you in that video.
Yeah, a little bit.
Staring down the camera like, you Nick, you son of a bitch.
People like me.
Yeah. But what I see is somebody is using government for exactly the purpose that you just said, is to break the oligopoly, to target the anger towards a tiny percentage of the population that has controlled the levers of government from the White House down to the mayor's office.
Oh, shut the fuck up. He's just another fucking grifter who told people what they wanted to hear. Oh, we're going to get free rent. Oh, we're going to have free buses. Oh, we're going to have free groceries. And then he gets in office. Obviously, none of that's, he's not going to do any of that. It's the same shit as every other politician. Make a bunch of promises and deliver on absolutely fucking nothing.
In New York City or Peoria.
Plus, he's a commie, so he can go fuck himself.
In Illinois, to that matter. And even more so as you go further down that chain.
So I guess he's a Mamdani guy. All right, that's for that. We'll get into the Tucker Carlson, Shawn Ryan stuff. Will be for the second half. What are we already an hour? Gee, I mean, hour and a half into the show already, man. Time fucking flies, guys. Time flies. All right, I hope you guys are enjoying the show. Smash the thumbs up if you are. It's appreciated. It helps maybe signal to YouTube to share this out to more people. It's appreciated. Let's see what we got here. Former Navy SEAL Shawn Ryan says the U.S. has become so unpredictable that no country should trust it. Why
do you hate Fox News?
This guy's getting blackpilled, and you know, I'm getting blackpilled myself, so I don't blame him.
It's so great. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should give it another chance. It's probably been 3 or 4 years since I've watched it.
At Metal2JS420 super chatted $5. When does the fundamental leftist kick Nick's ass? These kind of fakes are fracturing the conservative base on purpose.
It's all WWE, bro. It really is. A lot of it is just fake fucking fighting for attention. And then behind the scenes, they meet and they get along and they're like, oh, you're actually pretty cool. It's WWE, man. WWE mentality has penetrated all of society, all of politics, all of the internet, all of it. Thank you, Metal, for the 5, brother. Appreciate it.
Why do you hate Fox News?
By the way, I was watching Fox News the other night because there was like some update on Iran, so I clicked on it. And I don't have premium right now, so I'm getting ads. What was the ad I got? Buy your American Israeli flag pin to support Israel because everybody knows the Jews are under attack and you want to show that you support Israel. Now you can buy your America Israel flag pin. Oh, Jesus Christ, dude. Obviously.
It's so great.
I'm going to buy one, by the way. I'm going to buy one, and the next episode, I'm going to wear my Israel American flag pin and show my support of Israel. And then maybe the algorithm will actually share this out to people.
I don't know. Maybe I should give it another chance. It's probably been 3 or 4 years since I've watched it. Me too. I don't think I'm missing anything, but...
But, I mean, can you drill down a little bit on that? What about it
No,
turned you
I didn't buy the pin, Cyber Twitch. I probably should, though.
off?
I should.
I'm just interested. I worked there at one point, so
I mean, just the it's just lies over there too, I think.
Yeah.
You know, it's with both. It's not just Fox News. It's all of them.
They're back to the original Fox News that I grew up to, which was just warmongering dick suckers. Just pushing propaganda for the neocons and just being like, oh, these guys are evil. We got to fight them there so we don't have to fight them here. And it's just all fucking war propaganda now. That's what Fox News is back to.
You know, and you see, you know, especially like now, I haven't seen it in a while, but I would see things pop up on X and stuff. And I'm like, and I the older generation that watches it, that's how I know what's going on there, you know, and it's like, man, did you know about like this and that, and the other, like, are you getting a full picture here, or they don't know anything? It's just crazy to me. Like they listen to only, you know, one source. And it's like, man, like you're not getting a full picture here, and they're hiding shit from you. Maybe they're not lying. They probably are, but they're hiding shit from you. They're hiding the full picture. They're hiding the full picture of the Epstein files. They're hiding the full picture of everything. The Iran war. Like, is anybody over there talking about the petrodollar?
No.
Is anybody talking about the schizophrenic leadership that we're dealing with right now? Like this shit with Canada? Like, could you imagine like doing business with the U.S.? Like the Canada pipeline, and I'm going to butcher this, but like what the Biden administration denied it. They didn't want the Keystone?
Yes.
Keystone pipeline coming in. And then they're like, okay, so then they do some deal with China. And then we throw like a 25%, then Trump comes in, we throw a 25% tariff on them for doing business with China. Then we throw a 35%. Then we do 100% tariff. And it's like, dude, what the fuck is Canada supposed to do? They tried to pipe it right into the Midwest. We denied it. Now you're going to put 100% tariff on them for making a deal with somebody else that they offered us at the beginning. Like if I was a foreign country, there's no way in fucking hell I would do business with the United States.
Because there's no continuity. It's just
no.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is everybody kind of does have to do business with us. And that's why we're able to act like fucking retards and get away with it, because everybody wants access to our markets. Everybody wants access to the American consumer because we have the biggest fucking consumer base in the world. And, you know, until recently, we had spending power. That's kind of going away now. Yeah, but it was kind of dumb the way Trump did tariffs, because he should have been very strategic in going like, hey, these are the industries we want to build up. Okay, we want American manufacturing of computer chips. Okay, so let's subsidize these companies to ramp up their production so that we can start building computer chips. And then once they're ready to go, then we start putting tariffs so that we can compete, so that American consumers have to actually buy the American products so the American companies can survive making chips. But Trump just used it as like a dick swinging contest. Like, hey, we're gonna throw 100% tariff on you. That way we can negotiate and I'll get what I want, so that you'll agree just to get this fucking burden of this tariff off. And it's like, that's kind of not the way to do it, bro. I mean, I get the logic of that, but it clearly didn't work out. But if you listen to Trump supporters, you're like, oh, what do you mean? Our manufacturing's coming back and America's coming back and everything's... It's like, okay, sure it is. Sure it is.
It's literally like dealing with a crazy person, like a schizophrenic fucking crazy person. Like, shit, I just offered this to you guys like a couple of years ago. Now you're like going crazy on me. What are you supposed to do?
I think you're supposed to remember
that's just one.
I think the answer is Putin is bad. He's very, very bad.
That's the rumor.
I think that
you can't go 5 minutes without Tucker busting that laugh out.
I think one of the main reasons that the United States, which is protected from the rest of the world by the world's largest oceans, never been invaded, has all the natural resources we need and a lot of great and smart people. The whole reason that we've been perpetually at war, really since 1917, is because identifying a foreign threat or foreign enemy or something to worry about far away removes attention from our own bad leadership. It's a way of like our leaders to be like, okay, you're right, but Putin. But honestly, the problem is Putin or Hitler, who's been dead for 85 years or whatever. I mean, it's like,
what we got next? Tucker Carlson asked Shawn Ryan what advice he'd give young men. His answer: don't put your faith in any man.
If you had a son who was like 15 or 25 or, older and said, what advice would you give me about how to live? What would your advice be?
Don't put your faith in any man.
Yeah.
You're going to be disappointed every single time.
Yeah. That's really wise. There's something in us that wants to believe in other people. Did you put your faith in Pete Hegseth?
Yep.
What was your takeaway from your interview with him?
Well, if I remember right, I mean, I don't remember the interview that well, but if I remember right, Pete wanted to be the Secretary of the Veterans Affairs.
Yeah, he did in the first term.
And I just don't really have much interest in the Veterans Affairs. And so I steered the interview into what would you do if you were Secretary of Defense? Because I was much more interested in that kind of stuff than I was with the Veterans Affairs. Being a veteran, I just think the VA is a lost cause.
Really?
The VA's been kind of helpful for me getting my dad help. So, I mean, everything could be better, but I'm kind of glad the VA's around. And with my dad, I mean, I'm starting to think, I don't know, you guys don't give a shit, but I've been doing a lot of research into dementia, Alzheimer's, all that shit. And I'm really starting to think what my dad has is what's called NPH, normal pressure hydrocephalus, because that's the symptoms he's getting. Like, I also watched this I've been watching all kinds of documentaries about people with Alzheimer's and dementia, and he's not getting like what I see from these people with dementia. That's not what my dad's going through. My dad's going through like three main things. Like his physically, like walking is very difficult. He's got the magnetic gait, because there's like three symptoms of normal pressure hydrocephalus, and it's like the magnetic gait where like their feet feel heavy, like they can't lift their feet off the ground, so they end up walking and it's like a shuffle. You have some cognitive issues as well, but then you also have like complete incontinence. Those are the three symptoms. And but then when I watch these documentaries, these people with dementia, they're like nothing like my dad. My dad never forgets who anybody is. He remembers everybody. He doesn't have the cognitive impairment of like somebody with dementia. So there's a possibility when I go see a neurologist with my dad in October, I'm going to tell him to really focus on ruling that out, because that is something they can actually make better. They have to do a little test where they remove some cerebral fluid from the spine, and then like they watch him, and like if they get better like pretty quickly, then that's what it is, because essentially what it is too much like cerebral fluid in the brain, and then you got to put a shunt in that will like drain the cerebral fluid anytime the pressure builds up, and a lot of the symptoms will just go away. And from all the research I'm doing, that's what it looks like he's got. So I hope that's the case, and hopefully we'll find out here in a couple months when we finally get to see a neurologist.
Yeah, and so I steered it that way, and then 5 days later, after the release, the guy gets. I didn't even want to interview Pete because it was a book. He had a book out, and he's a Fox News guy, and I fucking hate Fox News. And I was like, I don't know, I don't want to interview him because he's a Fox News guy.
Yeah,
and it was like, all right, like I think it was whatever. I was like, all right, we'll do it. And then it was like, all right, hurry up and get this interview out. You just get it out. Like, let's get this over with.
You didn't think you were about to change history of the world?
No.
Yeah.
And then 5 days later, he gets picked up for Secretary of Defense.
What did you think when you heard that?
I was like, holy shit, that's crazy. And then it inflated my ego. I'm like, holy shit, this show has power. Then I went to the Army Navy football game, and he points at me. He goes, thank you. I'm like, I was up at the box with all the big wigs, Vance and Trump and all of them. And I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here? But it inflates my ego. And I'm like, holy shit. And then everybody else gets picked. Kash Patel, Tulsi, now I'm not saying like I'm the guy, but for that one, that interview definitely had some influence.
How do you think it's gone?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think any of these guys really have any. The funny thing is, like, you see all these people get up there and they get addicted to this fucking power that they do not have.
Right.
And it's like, you think you're so powerful. But you can't even
smart.
You can't even say what's on your mind. Like, you're powerless. You have no fucking power. You're just around power that's telling you what to do and what to say. And it's like, well, I don't get but they probably don't see it. You know what I mean? They probably don't see it, but they think they have all this power, and they don't have any fucking power.
Yeah, someone says, Cybertruth says, I can tell Shawn Ryan has done psychedelics. Yeah, he did 5-MeO DMT, which is the one Mike Tyson does all the time. And apparently it went really terrible. He said he saw hell. I sometimes, like, people get like life-changing and then life-changing results from doing these psychedelics. And sometimes it actually makes things worse for people. And I think he's one where I don't think it made anything better for him. And he's definitely struggling, because I think if I was to be, give him the benefit of the doubt that he's being honest here, I think he feels like he fucking got conned like the rest of us did. And it's no fun feeling that way. It's not. I think we can all understand that.
Because they can't say what they really think.
Yeah, they can't say what they won't even stand up for what they believe in, man. Like, look at the shit that's happening. You're going to sit here and tell me the fucking country's going great while the president of the United States kids are buying private islands with bunkers? Must be going great.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're talking about the VA says, guess what? If you didn't have problems that were documented while serving, then it's going to take longer and be a harder process. Yeah, that's a difficult one, because it's kind of like the NFL. Like, my dad obviously had head injuries when he served back in the 60s. He was a lineman. He was part of Signal Corps. He would climb telephone poles, falls happen, all kinds of stuff. And it's like, yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a connection to those head injuries and what he's going through now. But even though he hasn't gotten a disability rating, they looked at him. Now we got a memory care appointment with a neurologist. And when we get to the neurologist, that's all I'm going to focus on, is like pointing to them like, hey, this is all pointing to NPH. It's all pointing to normal pressure hydrocephalus and not normal dementia. And I'm going to fucking hammer them to death. And if they don't want to do anything about it, they don't want to do the TAP test, then yeah, I guess I'll have to find another doctor that will. But that to me has to be ruled out first and foremost. Because, yeah, I mean, if he can get his life back, because it's insane, like, people get this and like they go right back to being normal again, because the problem is essentially the fluid in the brain is causing too much pressure, and it fucks with the brain and it causes these specific symptoms. But I mean, they've been helpful so far. They really have. Like they send you know, adult you know, things that people with incontinence need. You know, they sent me a whole box of them. So I don't know if he's gonna get listed, get the disability listing, if they're going to even connect it to his service or whatever. But I mean, right now I could take him to the VA emergency room and I wouldn't be charged anything up front and they would take care of him. Whereas if I went to any other place, they'd be like, well, you got money to pay. So, I mean, I don't want to shit on it could be better. And there are a lot of people scamming, getting disability. Like they serve for 10 minutes and the next thing you know, they got disability for the rest of their life and on a paycheck. But yeah, I've been kind of happy with the VA at this point, and we'll see how it goes, man. We'll see. You know, Tucker Carlson and Shawn Ryan discuss whether America is still a superpower in the collapse of an empire.
And obviously 9/11 is not what they told us. I'm not exactly sure what it was, but they're lying about it.
Adele_Yeffa-67 super chatted $10.
What's up, buddy?
Praying for your dad, pink folded hands.
Yes, please do. Please pray for my dad, because you know, it's not just cope me, because obviously if you're dealing with a situation like this, you don't want it to be dementia. You'd rather it be something like normal pressure hydrocephalus, because that's actually can be fixed. But this ain't a cope for me. Like, it all lines up with it being NPH. And the reason I remember NPH, because Neil Patrick Harris, that's just kind of funny. But no, it all lines up with that. Like his symptoms, because again, I'm watching all these documentaries on people with dementia, and he's not like that. He never forgets who anybody is. He doesn't have these hallucinations. He doesn't forget his name. What it is with his cognitive issue is like he's always exhausted. So like thinking is difficult for him. It's on a level of cognitive disimpairment that an NPH person would get, not on the level of somebody getting dementia, Alzheimer's. And then his main symptoms are the 3 symptoms of NPH. Okay, like when I watch him walk, it's like he can't, like his feet. He tells me like his feet feel super heavy. It's hard to pick them up off the ground. And then I watch these documentaries of people with dementia and Alzheimer's, and they're walking around like their bodies are perfectly fine. It's all in their brain. Where my dad's kind of the exact opposite. It's more physical than it is cognitive. So again, this is not just copium. This is like me looking at all the symptoms. And it's like, and the thing is, it's pretty easy to rule out. They got to go in there, do the TAP test, to go into the spinal, do a spinal tap, pull out some of the cerebral fluid. And if he gets better, you know, right then. And then you make an appointment with the neurosurgeon and you get a shunt put in. And you start rehab, because you're going to be weak because you're not moving around a lot. And you do rehab, and after a year or so, you can kind of be back to where you were before. And I pray that that's what it is. And if you guys could pray for me, that'd be great, because I would much rather that be the case than something that's not curable, that's just going to get worse, you know?
Kennedy assassination. Obviously, they're lying about it. Everything they're lying about, because they're liars. So I've made all those points about 1 million times, but with decreasing enthusiasm and at a certain...
I get that you can be too close to something, but I'm also close enough to know all the symptoms he has, Garth. And this was something I did for a living, bro. I was a troubleshooter. I was like one of the best in the country with Ericsson equipment at troubleshooting. So I'm good at putting my own opinion out of it and just looking at it, you know, without any preconceived notions. And it's not that difficult. When you have 3 main symptoms of NPH, and those are his 3 main symptoms, and all the other shit that you would get with dementia and Alzheimer's ain't really there, it's not rocket science, bro.
Point, you're like...
But I could be wrong, you know. That's why the doctor's got to do the test. So I just got to get to a neurologist who's willing to do the TAP test, and then we'll know.
I'm telling people something they already know. I'm not actually bringing the truth, because the truth is unknowable.
Oh, yeah, if you have parents, like, this is stuff that a lot of people don't know about. People just assume, oh, it's just dementia. There's nothing we can do. Like, no, there a lot of times people will miss that. A lot of doctors will just be like, oh, it's old, you're old, or oh, it's dementia. Like, no, if you have a parent going through this shit, make sure to rule out normal pressure hydrocephalus. Thank you, Jet.
Jet
Thank you for the 5 and the
4804
prayers,
super
bro.
chatted $4.99. Praying for you and your dad.
Thank you, brother.
I can't figure out what happened, really. And maybe I'm just making people hopeless.
That's kind of what I'm getting at. I mean, what do you think it looks like if, well, not really. I mean, I don't even think we're the superpower anymore. I think that's becoming more and more obvious every day. But
no, we are a superpower because it doesn't matter that we go down. If everybody else is going down too, like, and what makes us great is not just tied to like how good our economy is. It's in comparison to what other countries have. And we have like the most resources. We are still the superpower. It's just no doubt about it. We're just, for the American people, we're just not as well off as we used to be.
a lot of people do. So let's phrase it like this. What do you think it looks like if we do lose our place in the world? Do you think it's going to be that bad? I've been looking into some of this with what happened when Germany fell and what happened when the UK fell and what happened to the USSR when it fell. And some of them were really bad, and some of them, like the UK stuff, it didn't really seem that bad. Like, they still had law and order. Their currency was still worth money. I think they had a lot of debt. Property rights still existed.
At Metal2JS420 super chatted $2. Trepanning is a very old surgery drill, baby drill.
Trepanning is a very old surgery drill, baby drill. Let me look that up. I don't know what the fuck trepanning is. Thank you, Metal.
But the world figured it out. We don't need to answer these people anymore. There's a new sheriff in town.
There are only two things you need to survive long term, in my opinion.
Was trepanning supposed to be tripping? Trepanning, also called trepanation, or trephining, is a surgical procedure in which a hole is deliberately drilled, scraped, or cut into the human skull. Yeah, they don't have to cut into the skull. They can do it right from the spine, because your cerebral fluid also goes down your spine, right? So yeah, they do a spinal tap essentially and pull out some fluid, and then that will relieve the pressure. And if the symptoms improve within a couple hours, you know what's up.
One is a coherent nation. Like, you have to have Germans. Like, everyone understands what a German is. You've got a shared history, language, cultural assumptions. Like, you have something in common with your countrymen. And you have to have your dignity and your self-respect. You can't be convinced to hate yourself just because you lost something. They can't break your spirit. They can't turn you into the prison bitch. And because if that happens, then there's no recovery at all. And the loss isn't measured in GDP. It's like much bigger than that. And so I would argue that the collapse of the British Empire, the collapse of the German state in 1945, the country was literally split in half. I mean, those were pretty soft landings on a surface level, but they were profound. And those nations were destroyed for all time. Whereas Russia, which went through in 91 when the Soviet Union dissolved, went through a period of, 10 years of lawlessness and the oligarchs and the mafia and people getting shot to death in Moscow and life expectancy plummeting and everything that we read about in the Western press. But actually, Russia remained a coherent nation with a shared vision of the future. It remained an actual place, like a real place. And now it's recovered, and now it's a great power again. Mm-hmm. It's the world's largest country, and it has a sense of itself as that, and it will continue. It will outlive us. It will outlive Germany and the UK, that's for sure. Whether my ancestors are from the UK and Germany, so like I'm kind of on their side in some deep sense, but just objectively, they're not going to exist because there's no such thing as a German anymore. Mm-hmm. The majority of births in the UK are non-English. So like, what does it even mean there's no country?
But before that, I mean, it was a soft landing.
Yeah, they had rationing in Britain for 10 years after the war. And
they had I didn't realize.
Oh, yeah. They had, I think for 10, some genius on the internet will correct me, but I think, for 10 years. Oh, it wrecked the British.
Where's Danny? Tucker, you're claiming Germans don't exist anymore. Have you met Danny? She's a legit German, okay? She's probably got to dodge all the migrants every time she goes to buy groceries, but she's a legit German. They still exist.
Economy, the fall of empire.
But yeah, a lot of these European countries, they've been sold the fuck out by their governments, and now we're being sold the fuck out as well. So that's great.
The empire really ended in 1918, but whatever. The point is, Americans still thought Britain was a real country and impressive. It was our parent. Being ambassador of the court of St. James was the highest honor in the U.S. State Department. Like, there was a lot of prestige that attached to Britain, not so much anymore, but the country itself was gone. And you're gone when you start importing people to replace your children. Like, that's just the most obvious. What's your birth rate doing? Are people reproducing? Do they have enough confidence and enough self-respect to keep the project going with their genes? And no, they don't. So I think the bigger the empire, the farther out over its skis it gets, obviously, the more
Harder it falls.
Exactly. The uglier the crash. And I'm worried about our country because there is no coherent nation.
Yeah. Well,
I spoke to an employer this morning, a big industrial
Shawn does not seem very engaged in this conversation. It's okay. Yeah. Well, I got nothing.
employer who's a close friend of mine. Republican, optimistic, very smart person.
Pooping loud, doo-doo butter. No, I poop very quietly. I'm a very, very quiet pooper.
Very decent Christian person. And he said to me, we have zero unemployment in the state that he's a Midwestern state. He said zero unemployment. I don't care what they tell you. We can't find English speaking workers. Nobody speaks English. And you have to work in our plant. You have to speak English for safety reasons. And we can't, nobody speaks English. And This is in a major American Midwestern state. This is a major industrial company, makes things. He said, we can't. Nobody. In fact, he told me one of his competitors is going out of business because of labor shortages. And the problem is English. There just aren't enough English speakers in the United States.
Maybe the problem is also they're not paying enough, dude. A lot of people don't want to take jobs and work their ass off for a job that's not even going to give them enough money to live a decent lifestyle. It's like, oh, so I got to work 60 hours a week just so I can be in poverty? I don't know, maybe try paying people more. I'm sure you could find Americans that speak English then. But no, if you're going to keep paying fucking slave wages, then yeah, your only options are going to be, people from other countries willing to work for slave wages.
Staff a factory.
Holy shit.
So I think those of us who live in kind of like legacy communities where, half your neighbors had an ancestor in the Civil War are not seeing what the country's becoming because we're cut off from it, because we live in these little pockets that look like our childhood, but that's not a reflection of what the country is.
Oof.
That's not happening in Russia or China or Iran. So those are the measures, like all this stuff, like, the nuclear program.
Great comment, Shawn. Ugh.
And whoever is running the country.
Shawn's used to just having the easiest interviews where he gets like a guest that everybody's interested in, and then he just asks basic questions, and then the guest carries the whole conversation. Now that he's the guest and he's got to carry the conversation, he seems a little lost.
Today, and Yeltsin versus Putin, it's like, who cares? That's all window dress. I mean, those are meaningful, I guess. I mean, of course they're meaningful, but they're not ultimately the measures that matter. What matters is who lives in your country. Are there people whose ancestors live there, or are they brand new people who have no connection in all the country, are likely to treat the current occupants with contempt, and is it a source of income and people to be exploited?
Some of these are hard watches for me. I don't know. Shawn Ryan, his kids are buying private islands with bunkers. In his most personal interview, yet Shawn tells Tucker, wow, who never vouched for another politician. We'll see. We'll see what you do come 2028. We'll see.
I never want to involve myself in the U.S. political.
Well, this is just a preview. We don't need to watch the fucking trailer. What else do we got? Former Navy SEAL Shawn Ryan says he interviewed 8 people who were later picked by the administration. 2 of them thanked me personally, but said, because he said my interviews are the ones that got them there. Ryan says things changed after that. Yeah, so they got into office and we're like, yeah, fuck all y'all. I'm in it for the bag like everybody else.
I think I interviewed 8 people that got picked up for the administration. 2 of them thanked me personally because they said my interviews are the ones.
Oh, Kash Patel. Look, I'm not going to shit on. I think Tulsi Obviously, I think she should have done like Joe Kent and resigned, because I know she didn't support the Iran war. But you can't put her in the same boat as like Kash Patel. She's not as much of a disaster as Kash Patel is. Kash Patel is such a fucking disaster.
Ones that got him in there. One of them got picked 5 days after I released the interview, Secretary of War. After they all got in there, some of them trying to influence me, and senators and congressmen and other people. Now that they're in there, it's like they want me to do shit. Or they did. I pretty much have made my statements, like I'm very loud about shit, and I want them to get the message, like don't fucking ask me for that stuff. But I got paranoid, like, are they monitoring me because they're worried I'm gonna go against them? Are they listening when I'm talking to my wife? Or are they listening and when I go to dinners with people? Like, what is happening?
Short answer, yes.
Yeah. I think I interviewed.
Are they really spying on Shawn? I mean, I bet you they are. I wouldn't be surprised. If you got these podcasters who are like very influential, yeah, I'm sure the government's going to get involved. They're going to try to pay them off or control them in some way. Trump aligned with Chuck Schumer and joined the Uniparty. Okay.
I put a lot of faith in a lot of these guys.
By the way, I've never been a fan of Shawn Ryan. I've never watched his podcast. I've always found him super fucking boring, but that's just my personal opinion. If you're a Shawn Ryan fan, no hate.
Guys and women, you know,
I'm
that
allowed to have my
on
opinions.
Really, the only one that really impressed me was Joe Kent, you know, in the long run. Everybody else has just been a wash or a complete disaster. Just a lying piece of shit.
I agree.
What about you?
As we discussed last night at dinner, I'm still trying to figure out what all of this means as someone who campaigned for Trump and told everybody Trump is the option to the universe.
It's just 1430 says, how do people like Shawn or Tucker even get these high profile interviews? Highly suspect. It's about the views, bro. The platforms blow them up. It's the same reason Clavicular is on like he's on Fox News. He's on every big podcast of like Conservative Inc. And it's like, why the fuck would they interview Clavicular, dude? Oh, because he's got a bunch of attention. And he's got a bunch of views. And that's all people care about. They don't care. Like, you could be the most talented person in the world. If the social media algorithms are not pushing you in everybody's feed, no one wants to talk to you. The moment the social media algorithms start pushing you to everybody and all of those influencers see, oh, this guy's getting a lot of views, now they want to talk to you. That's why people go on these shows, because they get views.
Party, you got Republicans, Democrats are on the same side, but Trump is not. He's on a different side, maybe even the public side. And then Trump, the last hope, winds up aligning with Chuck Schumer and just joins the Uniparty in the most obvious way. At that point, you have to ask yourself, is there a political solution to the problems that we have? And I don't know the answer, but I'm starting to think maybe there isn't. I don't know. I feel as discouraged as you do, though I don't articulate it quite as well and forcefully as you do, but I kind of feel that way.
Shawn Ryan's sad and discouraged, bro. I mean, look, if I was in Shawn Ryan's position, all right, bro, yeah, politics is a scam. We all got conned. All right, you're still a rich motherfucker with a huge show. Go enjoy your fucking life, okay? And just call out the scamming. Just be like, hey, these guys are lying scammers, and we need a revolution in this country, okay? And then, go have fun with your show and your millions of fucking dollars, bro. For fuck's sake. I'm happier than him, and I don't even got any money. I mean, imagine having all that money and having that sour puss on your face all the time. Thank you for the 10, Apophis. 10 gifted. You rock, brother. Thank you so much. Who got the memberships here today? Let's see who got the free fucking memberships. Thank you, Apophis. Everybody, round of applause for Apophis with the 10 gifted. T. Copum. What's up, T. Copum? I don't think this is the first time you've got a gifted membership, T. Copum. I think I've seen you get them before. Kazim Jafar. What's up, Kazim? Rob Man Nofion 5645. Welcome to the Kingdom. George Ennett. Are you British? George, welcome. JR316. Welcome. Mr. Pua Boilup. Welcome. Caleb Smith. I recognize Caleb. Nick Henley. What's up, Nick? Absinthe Minded. Chameleon Productions. Welcome to the Kingdom. Everybody say thank you to Apophis for the very generous 10 gifted. What a fucking Chad. We got a real Chad in here. Thank you, brother. Here's Tucker Carlson calling Nick a 27-year-old gay kid again. So yeah, Tucker's going after Nick again.
Whether anyone agrees or disagrees with you, I think, especially me sitting here talking to you, I really, really appreciate the fact that you're willing to tackle any issue, and I'm thankful for that. So thank you for the conversation. Let me ask you this, just a few more questions before I let you go. I'm thinking about the Nick Fuentes interview, for example, and I wanted to transition a little bit to this because, I'm wondering about where the line is between exposing extremism and normalizing it when you have somebody like him that you had on your show. I remember people were criticizing you. I didn't watch the interview. I saw, clips of it, but I didn't watch the whole interview in its entirety. And I remember people accusing you of being quite soft on him, even though I can't imagine you being that guy. But that's what they were accusing you of.
Yeah, he was kind of soft on him. But some people don't feel comfortable inviting someone onto their show and then being an asshole to them. Because it's not just about feeling comfortable and being nice. It's about, I need to invite other people on the show. And when other people see this, that I might want to come on the show, they're not going to want to come on. So you have to have a little bit of a, you got to be a bit friendly in order to not scare other people from wanting to come on your show. But entertainment-wise, it's fun when people go fucking all out and attack. Like, that's what I want to see. I want to see fucking blood sports on every podcast.
And they were saying stuff like that, but we know some of the things that people have felt he said and some of the positions that he has taken. From a generic perspective, extremism compared to normalization, where does Tucker Carlson draw that line in the sand, particularly considering the position that you're in now and the kind of influence you wield?
I think it's really important not to normalize extremism and to call it out by name and to say, to just frame this correctly, like what you're saying is crazy and extreme. I think it's super important to say that because otherwise it's like, oh no, this is normal. And I think one of the most extreme human beings I've ever met in my entire life was Lindsey Graham. And I would say maybe the second most extreme I've ever met is Ted Cruz. Both U.S. senators. Lindsey Graham unfortunately passed away recently. Ted Cruz still represents Texas. These are people who have called for murdering innocents at scale, bombing people who did nothing wrong, killing kids, and have done that for like decades, who have openly called for the U.S. government and American citizens to be more loyal to a foreign country than to their own, who have called for banning Americans' right to criticize a foreign country, eliminating free speech on behalf of a foreign nation. You can criticize your own country, totally fine.
He's making a great point. Like, Nick Fuentes has nothing on these motherfuckers.
You're not allowed to criticize a foreign country. That's so crazy that I can hardly believe it's happening. And nobody says it. So you'll go and you'll interview Lindsey Graham or I interviewed Ted Cruz last year. And people are like, oh, no one is like, I can't believe you're sitting with that wacko extremist Ted Cruz, who's literally called for murdering people. And by the way, has helped murder people. He's a United States senator. He's not a podcaster. He votes for things. He appropriates money. That guy has blood on his hands, the blood of countless innocents, but it's totally cool to sit with him. How does that work? I don't understand. Not one person has ever said, I can't believe you sat across from Ted Cruz. He's a murderer, which is true. But because we're so
you're calling
controlled,
the Senate. You're calling a senator.
So brainwashed.
Hold on, Tucker. These are political officials you have known, just like you've known Trump. You've known a lot of guys on Capitol Hill. You've interviewed a lot of them. You've talked to a lot of them. You used to be on Fox News, which is a top-rated show at 8 p.m. after you succeeded Bill O'Reilly. You used to talk to these folks all the time. And now here you are on this show. You're calling them a murder. You're calling a guy like Senator Ted Cruz a murderer.
Well, it's true. Ted Cruz is calling for the killing of innocents and funding it. And so what I'm actually calling for is not calling out poor Ted Cruz, who's suffering, is already living in hell. And I'm not even mad at Ted Cruz. I want to awaken people to a real moral framework.
Hey, Stephen A., I wonder if he's still running for office because, he's supporting the war. He's not going to call out Israel and their fucking warmongering. And he's going to suck the dick of the neocons. What a disappointment. Stephen A., I mean, you could probably have a chance of winning, but you got to fucking wake the fuck up. You seem to be naive to a lot of shit.
So you have people who say ugly things, and great. That happens everywhere. I'm against saying ugly things. I try not to. I try not to do that. But
you just did. That's a very ugly thing to say, Tucker.
I mean,
to call a senator, it's an ugly thing to say, Tucker.
When you're making decisions and pushing for bombs to be dropped on people, and then those bombs drop on people and innocent people die, like when you bomb a fucking school full of little girls, I think, calling them a murderer is not out of the realm of possibility. I don't know why you're so offended by that, Stephen.
Well, first of all, I don't, because he is a senator, it actually matters. It's not ugly, it's a fact. Ted Cruz has called for killing innocents. He's done it to me many, many, many times. We'll just bomb them. Just bomb the whole city. Just blow them up. What? There are people, thousands, millions of people who live there who did nothing wrong. They have no role in this. They have no role in a nuclear program. They're just going to work. They're little kids. That's crazy. That is extremist.
Became a member.
Thank you, Butielli. I'm just going to go with Butielli. It sounds nice. It rolls off the tongue. Thank you, Butielli. Welcome to the team.
And he has the power to make it happen. He's a U.S. senator. So, by the way, we should get back in the media into the habit of criticizing the powerful. And I know everyone's upset about some 27-year-old gay kid, Nick Fuentes. Ooh, he says naughty things. Yeah, I agree, whatever. But who cares? What we should care.
I can't believe he went back to the 27-year-old gay kid. Is Nick going to crash out about this for a whole nother week now?
Nick Fuentes. Ooh, he says naughty things. He's upset about some 27-year-old gay kid, Nick Fuentes. Ooh, he says naughty things. Yeah, I agree.
Are we going to get a return of the Tucker versus Nick wars? This will be fun. This will be fun. Hopefully they do a podcast again.
Whatever. But who cares? What we should care about is when powerful people misuse their power to hurt the innocent. And Ted Cruz is doing that. And so are a lot of other senators. So I'm just waiting for someone to call me and be like, I can't believe you platformed Ted Cruz. I can't believe. How do you live with your, do you sleep at night? I mean, did you shake his hand? The hand of someone who called for the murder of innocents? I can't believe you can live with yourself. I'm waiting for that moment. It'll never come because everyone's so freaking brainwashed that they think that whatever that little gay kid is.
He called him a gay kid again. Yeah, I mean, it's very possible Nick is gay. I mean, those allegations are going to be hard for Nick to defeat, especially with the Catboy drama. I mean, I'm sure everybody knows about the Catboy drama at this point. Nick's got so much shady shit, man. You know, the Ali Alexander, that's probably the worst one. The Ali Alexander fucking, him picking up on fucking kids in Nick's audience that are like underage. It's fucking creepy, dude. CNN now reports that support for Israel in the U.S. is collapsing massively, down 67 points in just 8 years. That's not surprising, to be honest.
Has been Israel. How supportive Democratic candidates want to be of Israel.
I can't stand this guy's voice, to be honest.
U.S. aid to Israel. Over the summer, it's been largely seen as a Democratic issue.
That fake fucking newscaster voice that they all learned in fucking broadcasting school. I fucking hate that shit. We need to like, as a human, as an American population, we need to have a revolution against this sort of fake fucking broadcasting sounding voice. And bring back people who sound like real human beings.
But it might not just be...
But it might not just... Shut the fuck up!
...a party thing. With us now, CNN chief data analyst Harry Enton. When we're talking about Israel's favorability in the United States, in general, there's some big changes.
There are some absolutely huge, mammoth changes, generational changes that we're talking about. And I think there are a lot of Republicans, we'll be able to run against these anti-Israeli Democrats once we hit the general election because the general electorate feels very differently from the Democratic base. But the general electorate, look at these numbers on Israel, the net favorability. They're all negative. They're all negative. Ipsos, minus 10 points. Fox, minus 11 points. Marquette University Law School Law poll. Look at that, minus 20 points. Pew Research Center, minus 23 points. Negative, 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 negative. And Gallup earlier this year was also negative.
I sound exactly like him. Okay, thank you, Dr. Leon. I do not sound exactly like him. I do not have broadcaster voice. I don't think I do. I mean, honestly, I don't think. Maybe I do. Fuck.
Not just talking about the Democratic.
Do I have broadcaster voice? I didn't think I did.
Base anymore. We're talking about the general electorate as well. The general electorate has turned against Israel. This is not just a left issue. It is an American issue when it comes to opinions on Israel.
What's the trend line here?
What's the trend line here? The trend line is unbelievable. Look at the trend line here. Compare this to Donald Trump's first term. At this point in Donald Trump's first terms, Israel's average net favorability.
Wow.
You go back here. Look at this. It was plus 51 points. Wow, Johnny says. Wow, Johnny says, because this is wow. Plus 51. It's minus 16 points in the average poll now. That is what, a 67-point shift against Israel in just 8 years. Israel used to be a consensus issue in American politics, and that was a pro-Israeli position. Now the consensus has actually shifted, and now when it comes to general electorate, it is a minus. Israel is now seen negatively, and we're seeing it in poll after poll after poll.
It's just anti-Semitism. That's what it is. It's not the stupid wars. It's not the fucking turning Gaza into a parking lot, dragging us into a stupid war that nobody wanted anything to do with. No, it's the rise of anti-Semitism.
This vote in the House, where 100 Democrats voted against military assistance to Israel. How is that specific?
It's hard to do my investigative journalist voice because I have to talk really low in order to do it. I have to talk like this. This negative 16 points is not a representation of the American people and how they feel about Israel. It is a sign of the rise of anti-Semitism. I have to work on it.
Specific issue seen right now.
Yeah, you said.
What's nice is when you can record something, like you can do multiple takes until you get it right.
Wow.
You can't do that live.
Right? How about wow again? Take a look here. I never thought I'd see the day military assistance to Israel say U.S. should reduce or end it. Overall, 55% say they should reduce or end it. And it is true across the educational spectrum. 51% of non-college graduates, 62% of college graduates. So this isn't just an issue right among white liberals in Democratic primaries. No. This is true across the educational divide, even when we are looking towards a general electorate.
So let's all run on supporting Israel. Yeah, Republicans, let's run on fucking, we have to fight wars for Israel. That's going to be good. That's definitely not going to cause you to lose the midterms in the next election. Congratulations, you played yourself, retards.
Majority of Americans believe that military assistance to Israel should either be reduced or ended.
Yeah, this is going to be a disaster. Get ready for the woke fucking Democrat DSA. They're taking over. We got to have it. We can't go too long without having an Alex Jones clip. Knives out for J.D. Vance. Let's see what he's saying
Washington
here.
Post reports knives are out for Vance and the GOP as allies say it's coordinated up. Well, it's the Israel lobby is coming for J.D. Vance.
This is so crazy because when you hear people like Nick Fuentes and everybody else is like, J.D. Vance is like the secret fucking guy behind the scenes that like is the guy that the power structure wants. But then you keep reading that like a lot of the neocons and the Israel First types, they fucking hate Vance. So it's hard to know what the fuck's actually going on here.
Because he dares stand up for a little bit of our sovereignty. And they're all pushing Rubio. And it's become very fashionable also on the so-called populist right wing to bash Vance and claim he's the ultimate establishment creature grown in a lab. And I just don't ever agree with that. Just because he's, in with some Republican donors and people, they all are. Vance consistently has had a really, really good record for what he's pushed and what he stood up for. And
I don't think Nick Fuentes is going to like that, Alex. I guess you got to have Nick Fuentes on and debate over J.D. Vance. I don't trust Vance. I don't know I'm not one of these guys that pretends that like I know everything going on behind the scenes. We don't, unfortunately. You can only make educated guesses. And I don't know what the fuck's going on with Vance. Is he a fucking, a red herring? Is he legitimately one of the few people in the administration fighting back against the Iran war and trying to get us to stop? Or is that just a way of tricking all the people that were MAGA supporters who are angry about the Iran war into supporting Vance, and then he gets elected and he just brings about the next wave of fucking over the American people? I don't know what to think, but I'm not going to vote for him. I don't trust him. To me, the only people coming out that were in the Trump administration that I can trust are the ones like Joe Kent, who stepped down, Thomas Massie, who got kicked out of office by Trump. Like, those are people I can trust. I mean, MTG, I don't even know if I can trust MTG. I know something about MTG just is kind of shady. Rand Paul, maybe, but I don't know, dude. It's just, what do they say? Twice bitten, once shy, or whatever the saying is. That's how I feel right now. It's like, I don't feel like I can trust anybody that's in political office. That's why I have decided to support Alex Jones 2028.
There's the evidence right there. The system is coming after him. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, Rubio, I would never, ever think about the fact that we got a Trump admin and he put Rubio in that position makes me want to throw the fuck up. It makes me want to fucking projectile vomit for hours upon hours. Rubio is he might as well put Ted Cruz in. Fucking, it's terrible.
Oh, If he got elected president, could he go sideways on us like Trump? Absolutely. I'm just simply pointing out the obvious here.
Okay, but the rest is going to be an ad, I'm sure. More AI videos. Oh, yeah, we had to check in on Alex. He's doing all right. We saw this earlier. I won't put you guys through this again because as if you were a Trump supporter who's now upset with Trump's betrayal of the movement, this is a tough video to watch. But it's important we don't forget this because they're trying to gaslight us like this was never what we voted for. This was never what Trump's campaign. Trump always campaigned on Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. Yeah, okay. You're going to ignore the hours upon hours of him talking about stupid wars and how he's not going to start stupid wars and how neocons are like, let's just ignore all that because he once said, I won't allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon, which we all took to mean he's going to keep negotiating with Iran to stop him from getting a nuclear weapon. Simple. That doesn't mean, oh, we're going to war with Iran because that was never a popular thing. If he would have came out and been like, yeah, as soon as I get elected, we're going to go with a war with Iran and blow up all their fucking country to stop him from getting a nuke, he would have never got elected. He would have lost so much support. The coalition would have never been there for him. Just in, the U.S. is reportedly preparing a computer simulation to test how it would mobilize American manpower in a national draft. Months before automatically registering men ages 18 to 26. It's not an accident that they changed that law at this time when you can see the possibility of an invasion of Iran and they're going to need the manpower to do that. And you're going to need insane manpower. And probably the only way to get that manpower quickly is to institute a draft. And then I saw someone who's like, works at the White House was like, everybody's doubting Trump. I'm telling you, we have a plan, and you're going to be really surprised how we're going to defeat Iran because we have a plan, and we're going to defeat Iran. It's like, oh yeah, is it boots on the ground? Is that the plan? To bring about a draft and send a bunch of fucking Americans to die for some stupid war? Is that your plan? To get millions killed so you can win your stupid fucking war that nobody wants? So you can solve all the problems that didn't exist before you started this war? So yeah, guys, fortunately, I'm not of the age of being drafted yet. I mean, it might be after we kill all the fucking youth, then they might draft me. So, we got the Kaise and Asmon stuff going on, which, by the way, she had some clips where she seems kind of base, and I do see what Asmon sees in her, man. She is fucking just... But yeah, we'll follow up with the Kaise Asmon stuff. Kaise defends Asmongold from Stavros. Says he doesn't smell like anything, that he even mogs her. Okay.
How did this happen?
And by the way, she is so fucking... My God, bro.
Looks like shit, right?
She's like one of the first chicks that actually tempted me to go sign up for her fucking spicy content page. I was like, nope, don't do it. I've never done it. I'm not doing it. But she tempted me.
He probably gets no fucking pussy. Asmongold, whatever the fuck his name is.
I don't know, man. There's clout. He's got clout.
Do girls suck? Is disgusting.
I have no idea.
Bro, just the idea that Stavros gets pussy, like, the women that Stavros is banging are fucking disgusting pigs. There's no way around it. And then Stavros has the balls to talk shit about Asmon when Stavros is like a 1 and Asmon's like a 5. Okay. And yeah, okay, Stavros is in the movies now, so he's probably a 3 or 4, and maybe he's like, instead of just banging 400-pound behemoths, now he's like banging 200-pound behemoths. Like, I'm sure his quality of pussy like went up a tiny bit, Whereas Asmon, look at the chicks Asmon's hooking up with. Stavros, I've always fucking been annoyed with Stavros, dude. His little fucking commie ass. He's annoying. I don't know what it is. I don't like Stavros.
Yeah, but I don't.
Is that what he even likes? What does he do with his fucking?
Today we remember George Floyd, who was murdered by a former Minneapolis police officer 6 years ago. That moment.
Why is he weighing in? He's some fucking idiot. What did he stream?
Because Elon boosted the fuck out of this shit.
But what did he stream? How did he get famous? Fucking Minecraft?
World of Warcraft.
Oh yeah. My God.
Yeah, no.
A fucking World of Warcraft guy?
No, okay, well, yeah, that's shameful to get famous that way. The way you're supposed to get famous is to ride the coattails of other funny people and just go have the most obnoxious laugh. And that's the way you should really get famous. Just have just laugh really hard. So it makes things seem funny when they're actually just a little bit funny. Like, I don't know. Isn't that how Stavros came up on Cumtown? I'm not into Cumtown, so I don't know all the Cumtown shit. But I know, like, that's what I know about Stavros. He goes on podcasts and he like does that fake laugh all the time because everything's so funny.
Yeah. People listen to that.
People fall for that shit. You could have like shit that's like mildly funny, but if you have a guy like Stavros who's just sitting there laughing his ass off at everything, people are like, "Oh, this must be really funny."
Guy can't.
No, I didn't listen to Cumtown, Dr. Leon Cream. I just said that. I was not a Cumtown guy. And bro, she was I didn't know she was hiding such a fucking. When I saw like the clips of her with Asmon, like she was hiding those fucking monsters, bro. I didn't know she had monsters like that. She's got legit monsters hiding there. I'm trying to be okay with the language here. That's why I'm referring to them as monsters. Or the heavies, as Andrew Schultz would say. She got the heavies.
Like, are you serious? You're the one to talk. I don't think I need to say more. I don't need to say more.
By the way, you need help getting your audio levels right, you know, because like you're like up here and the clip you're reacting to is down here, you know. Call me up. I'll come help you. I'll help you set up your audio levels.
Okay, like literally fat people's opinion don't matter, so.
I like her. I'm liking her even more now, you know, and I'm breaking my rules. Usually, look, if you're doing adult content, you're doing OnlyFans shit, like, you know, but I can't help it. I'm liking this chick.
This is absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, be nice now. No more commentary. I don't even know who that is. Literally never seen him in my life.
Well, you haven't seen Tires? He's a fucking movie star. He's a movie star.
Yeah, the crazy thing is people, I don't know. I mean, okay, like he talks about not showering a lot. Like people have this crazy assumption that he smells like absolute shit. I've smelled way worse from people that actually shower.
What does cock smell like? That's just tell us what his balls smelled like.
Like
that's what everybody wants to know. Everybody wants to know what Asmongold's balls smell like.
Genuinely doesn't smell like anything. Like maybe he smells old, like because it just smells like an old house. But like it's not like he really doesn't smell like anything. I don't know. Yeah, are you cute effortlessly, or does it take? It takes effort, man. It does. Anyone that says like, oh, like anyone that comments on how Asmon look, like, oh, how does he get her? Like, he's so ugly. No, he actually mogs me. This man, wake up, open his eyes, and he's ready to go out. Okay, I need to take like at least 2 hours, hair, makeup, everything.
Well, come on, if that's the case, then every man mogs every woman, because that's every dude. We don't put makeup on. How we look is, you know, that's how we look. We wake up looking like that. It doesn't take preparation. You know, maybe you get in the shower and you fucking comb your hair or whatever. Like that's it. That's our preparation. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of cute that she's standing up for Asmon. I got a little more respect for her now.
Can't do that. Wish I could. Yeah, mogged. Absolutely.
I mean, Asmon mogs her. Okay. Asmongold's girlfriend thinks nothing is wrong with having a money-based transactional relationship with Asmongold. Okay. I mean, at least she's being honest, dude. Because we all know what it's about, okay? And that's okay. A lot of relationships are like this. A lot of dudes, they come into money, they get a little bit of, wealth and power and whatever industry they're in, and all of a sudden they become attractive to women all of a sudden. Same guy that was 10 years ago was broke and no woman would give him time of day. Now that guy's got money and all the women are interested in him. And I mean, that's just the way the world goes, dude. You know, some guys that bothers them though. Some guys, like, they realize like, nobody's really into me. They're just into my money. And other guys, they're totally fine with it. They're like, fuck it. At least they're into something. At least they're into something. But at least she's willing to admit it.
Also, I honestly, I don't see anything wrong with it. So what? So what, right? You like a guy that is successful, that makes him attractive. I don't see anything wrong with it. It's really just survival of the fittest, not gonna lie. You know, back in the olden days.
Oh shit. She's gonna drop some knowledge on us here.
The male that can hunt the most, they get to mate, they get to reproduce, they get to breed. This is literally biology.
Yeah, and instead of hunting, now it's doing video gaming streams, and whatever nerd gamer gets the most views gets to breed. What a world we're living in now, man.
It's literally the same thing. I don't think there's anything wrong.
What a crazy take. I don't know. I mean, she's kind of right, but I mean, it is like weird that this is where society is, where like the most powerful men are there because some algorithm boosted them, and then people like them, and then it's like, oh, he's the best gaming streamer. He has the best commentary as he games, therefore he gets to breed, and nobody else gets to breed. So that's what you gotta do. Don't be a real man, Chad, hunting and fucking, you know, working on your physique and you know, making sure you can defend and protect your women. No, just be the biggest streamer. Here's some more from her. Is this the same one? We'll see.
You know what I'm saying?
By the way, you need better background music. That background music is just, it's not working. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Guys aren't watching for the background music.
Yeah. He's very successful, but we're not going to ignore that, but he's also a very good product. If we apply the same analogy to me, if I was a fat, disgusting pig, nobody would be listening to what I'm saying right now.
I'm falling in love, bro. I understand I mean, the honesty coming from her is very nice to hear, because that's so true. We're watching because you're fucking hot. You got some big old bitty titties. And yeah. If you were a fat pig, no one would care. I mean, I like the honesty, dude. That's refreshing.
Right? Because obviously fat people's opinion don't matter. The same thing.
I don't know, man. I could see what Asmon likes about her. Yeah, people keep telling me that I need to stream 6 days a week, 6 hours a day. There might be a point in time where I can do that, but right now I don't have the luxury of doing it that much, okay? And I would need you guys to be on the ball more, okay? It's kind of y'all's fault, to be honest, okay? Because y'all don't join the Discord and help me figure out, like, no one's sending me video. I mean, yeah, some people do, but usually it's stuff I don't even want to talk about. Like, people aren't sending me, hey, this shit's going on, react to it. Like, a lot of these people who are streaming 6 to 8 hours a day, yeah, they have some stuff that they come into wanting to talk about. But a lot of the times their audience is like, hey, watch this video and watch that video. And did you see this thing that's happening? And like, their audience is helping them fill 6 hours of time by providing stuff for them to react to. So guys, step up, get into the Discord and send me shit to talk about. Help me fucking, because 6 hours, I mean, I do 3 hours and it's like, okay, like it's difficult to talk for 3 fucking hours. I could do 6, but eventually I'd run out of shit to talk about, you know? And it's like, okay, maybe I can game for 3 hours, but nobody wants to watch me game. So I got to figure out how to fill that other 3 hours. And like, you know, if there's a segment where you guys are just sending me shit to watch and like, hey, react to this, react to that. Yeah, okay, maybe that could help me get to 6 hours. But in the future, I do plan on streaming every day and streaming longer. But right now, it's just too much going on in my personal life to be able to put in that much time. It's difficult. Asmongold reacts to his girlfriend Kaise saying fat people's opinions don't matter.
I don't need to say more.
Fatty's
Okay,
talking
like
shit, bro.
literally fat people's opinion don't matter. So this is absolutely ridiculous. I don't even know who that is.
No, when I do interviews, I get less viewers, no Central Washington. I don't do interviews anymore. Whenever the show isn't just me and I have anybody else on, the person that I have on, everybody hates them. And then people are like, oh, I didn't like it. It's not as good. It's like people want the show to just be me. Anytime I because if I do bring somebody else on, that's somebody I can bounce off of. We can have conversations. That helps to fill time. But then the viewership just goes to nothing because nobody likes that. I don't know. It just is what it is, man. I see it every time though. Every time I have somebody else as a guest, whoever it is, people lose interest. They like the normal format of the show, which is, what today is.
Literally never seen him in my life.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the crazy thing is people, I don't know. I mean, okay, like he talks about not showering a lot, like.
His opinion doesn't matter. That's really something special, man. That's crazy, isn't it? Wow.
I don't need to say more.
I mean, she is kind of like, does she need to tell everybody that he doesn't shower? Does he already say he tells everybody he doesn't shower? Why wouldn't you shower in the first place? Why would you not shower? Like, I get it. Like, he's probably in his mind, like, well, I'm not doing any heavy lifting. I'm just sitting here in an air-conditioned room in front of my computer, but you're still going to get fucking stinky, dude. Even if you're not doing anything, you're going to start to smell. You should probably just take a shower. Like, I mean, how much is that to ask? Asmongold's girlfriend responds to haters saying she is trying to change him. Yeah, she is trying to change him. She gave him all these demands, like he has to cut his hair, he has to shower more. He's even thinking about buying a new house for her. Like, Asmon's literally going to change his whole life just to fucking score this chick. I can't, in a way, I can't kind of blame him, Well,
there are people mad about me wanting to change him. I feel like any level-minded person would want the best for him, in terms of health and happiness. Like, I'm not trying to change who he is. It's just, I think he can be a little healthier. That's it. And if you're a real fan, why would you hate him for changing his diet to be healthy?
Yeah, because fans a lot of times don't actually want what's best for the people they watch. They just want to be entertained, right? And there are a lot of fans who would rather see the person they're watching suffer or have misfortune thrown upon them if that would just create more entertainment for them. Because people are not in it because, they want the best for them. They just want fucking entertainment, dude. They want to fill the void in their fucking life with something entertaining. I mean, IRL streamers are the worst. Like, their fans, they want them to be murdered on stream. They want them to be arrested. They don't want anything good to happen to them. And they'll make things happen. Like, they'll call the cops on them. They'll get them in trouble. They'll get them to do things that will get them in trouble. It's kind of the most toxic, it's in my opinion, is a lot of these IRL streamers, like the shit that, like, their fans really do not want good things to happen to them.
I even told him, like,
I just can't. Yeah, I can't focus. It's hard to focus on what she's saying. Asmongold might get a second home after Kaise. Yeah, I mean, fuck it, dude. You got the money. If like you really like this chick, and I mean, obviously she's hot as fuck, and you're at that point in life where, like, I don't know. I mean, you don't have any other options. This is your one hot chick option to like settle down with, and you got to buy a new house. Like, I mean, I can't blame you. Go buy a new house, bro. Go spend that money.
High value mail is dirty, lives like a hermit. She did say, she said, she told me, I don't know if, like, she said she wants me to clean up the house. She wanted me to clean up the house. Yeah. She said it's contaminated. And it begins. No, that's number one. She said she wanted me to shower more. And I think there was like one other one I forgot. She gave me a big list of things that she wanted me to do. I forgot what the other ones were though.
He's gonna do every single one. But here's the risk though, is that if you give in to her demands, instead of like being happy about it, she might actually look at you like you're lesser than, because you're just giving in. You're like a little bitch and you're going to do everything she says. Like, she might lose some respect for you if you actually give in. Maybe the thing here is to just maybe stop showering completely. Maybe go a month without showering just to show her who the man is, and that you're not going to take any demands from any woman. Okay. That is a slippery slope though. Because, like, will she lose respect if he gives in to all her demands? That's a good question. I wonder.
Her boyfriend? There it is. It's always the same, isn't it? Demanding, yeah, to go to the I don't think that was one of them. Israel's trying to compromise you. Why not buy a second house?
I think she's a Chinese. A lot of people think she's a Chinese spy.
I will consider. I don't know. Like, there was a house I was going to buy. I ended up not buying it though. I might do it. Oh, brush your hair. She did say she wanted me to cut my hair shorter.
Don't do it, dude. The thing is, like, if he changes too much, like, his fans are going to be angry about it.
But not like super short. She said like when I played Final Fantasy 14, that was the frame of reference that she used. So, yeah.
Crazy. I wish him the best, man. I mean, I hope they get married. They pump out 100 kids. They can create their own little streaming army. They'll move into a mansion, get like 100 streaming setups. When your kids turn 13, you got a streaming army of Asmongold, and yeah. I hope it works out for these crazy kids. I do. I wish them the best. Yeah, John C. Dvorak. I don't know how to say his name properly. I actually did a podcast with this guy. One of my friends, his name's Chris. He does a podcast called Abs in a Six Pack. You guys might remember, I think 2022, 2023, sometime around then, he was a regular guest on the show. And, he got the big beard, the long hair. And I went on his show, and this guy showed up on the show out of nowhere. And really nice guy. And I did make fun of him, and now I feel bad about it. Because he talked about how much, like, he loves wine, and he started talking about wine, and I was like, I don't know, it's kind of gay to like wine that much. So now, yeah, I feel bad now, because I was kind of mean to him, and now he's dead. So rest in peace, John C. Dvorak. From Adam Curry's podcast. Like, I don't, No Agenda podcast, I believe, is the one with Adam Curry. I never really got into it. But I know they got a huge following, and he's been around forever. Like, I thought they call him the Podfather. I think there's a few people they call the Podfather. He's one of them. And yeah, rest in peace, John Dvorak. Seemed like a really nice guy. He took my ribbing really well when I called him gay for liking wine. And I mean, I stand by it. I think wine is disgusting. Never been a fan of wine or champagne. And if you're a man that enjoys wine, you might not be gay, but it is leaning in the direction of being gay. That's all I'm saying. Okay, there's nothing wrong with it. Again, I'm part gay myself. I'm just not so gay that I enjoy wine. All right. Fun show, guys. Did you guys have fun? You better have had fun. If you didn't have fun, then I don't know what to say. He just recently had heart surgery. Yeah, I saw something that, like, he just kind of just like passed out, and that was it. Sounds like one of the, like, easier deaths, There's a lot of ways to die, and the way he died sounds like a good way to go. They said he was watching TV with his wife, and his wife said he just went out. He just, one second he was there, the other second he was gone, and that was it. He just was like, that's it, just gone. So I'm sure probably something with his heart. I don't know. I would imagine that story wouldn't make any sense with a heart attack, because you would think a heart attack would be like, it'd be a little something. It wouldn't be just, you just go to sleep and you're out. So, I mean, who knows? That's what his wife says. So it seems like it was a peaceful death, sitting on the couch, watching TV with your wife after having a nice meal and some wine. Yeah, it sounds like there's worse ways to go, but, yeah, he was a good guy. I'll give him that. He was definitely a nice guy from what I know. It's only gay if you push back, Pink. Oh, that's good to know, Just 1430. What show was he watching? NCIS. He was watching NCIS. That's what she said. Probably no better way. Yeah, I mean, to me, going to sleep and then just not waking up, like, that's probably the best way to die. The worst way to die is just some long, drawn-out thing where you suffer. Because not everybody just dies like that. A lot of people suffer for years before they die, in extreme pain and all kinds of issues. And, like, I mean, going out quick with, like, a massive heart attack sometimes is not the worst way to go. It's not, much better than some long drawn out fucking suffering, Rest in peace. Yep. Rest in peace, John Dvorak. Laugh Out Loud, Yellowstone. No, it was NCIS. Rest in peace. Probably no better way. Chill out. Euf. Is Euf. What is Euf? Chill out. Oof. Dying on the couch in front of NCIS is a true American death. I agree. I don't think it's you can get more American than that, Butielli. Butielli. I'm liking your name. It just rolls off the tongue. What's up, Butielli? Sounds like you should be running some country in Latin America. You should be some dictator in Latin America. Don't start that shit though, Cyber. What are you doing? Okay, NCIS isn't the worst show to have when you die. What would be the worst show to watch when you're dying? Wouldn't be this show. I wonder if the years I've been doing this is anybody's died watching my show. I imagine it's happened. I imagine somebody had to have died watching my show by now. I don't know. Maybe the show's not big enough. You know, that's my goal. One day somebody will die watching the show. And then I'll know I've made it. And then I'll know I'm somebody. It's atrocious what suffering people endure because the government won't allow access to cannabis. Well, that's one thing too, you know. It's also harder to get pain meds now. I remember when I had gallstones and I had to go get my gallbladder removed. I was at work and all of a sudden I just had the most excruciating pain. Anybody that's had their gallbladder removed, women that have given birth say that gallstones are more painful than giving birth. So just a heads up. That's from women themselves. That's not from me because I've never given birth. But it was excruciating, bro. It was like somebody took a fucking knife and went boom and then just kept wiggling it and fucking just you know. So I went to the doctor and I literally spent, I don't know, 12 hours just begging for pain meds before they finally gave me some morphine. I guess they had to make sure I wasn't some drug addict faking pain so I could get morphine or whatever. And then finally, after I remember it being late at night, I finally had some relief and I was like, oh, thank God. And then the next morning I woke up and they yanked my gallbladder out. And now I'm gallbladderless. It's true. It's true. I don't have a gallbladder. It's sad and disappointing, but 'tis life. 'Tis life. And again, the doctor said I had the largest gallstones he'd ever seen. So not surprising. I usually, when I do things, I do it better than everybody else. Just pee around the stones. Morphine, yum. Yeah, it was, I was having really bad, what I thought was like acid reflux. Like I would eat and then like when I try to go to bed and it was like after my stomach should have settled and everything, like I would wake up with just extreme acid reflux where it was so painful. And then now I realize what was going on because I don't have that anymore since they removed my gallbladder. But yeah, that was the symptoms. And then one day at work, I went and during lunch got a tuna sandwich and then went back to the cell site and started eating the tuna sandwich. And it was like, oh, extreme pain. Extreme pain. Yeah, gallbladders are no fun. Your gallbladder divorced me. Your gallbladder, you're right. Kind of, if you look at it that way, it's kind of like my gallbladder divorced me. But I divorced it because I cut it out. I'm the one that decided to cut that bitch out and get rid of it. So I divorced it. It didn't divorce me. I have a feeling many poor souls have left the earth at the hands of the View. Oh, imagine that. That's a good point. That would be the worst thing to die to. Watching the View. You're like watching it just to hate on them and then you die. And as you're fucking fading out of this existence, all you can hear is fucking the hyenas at the View cackling about Trump or some shit. Yeah, that would be bad. That would be bad. I don't know. I don't think there's any worse thing to be watching when you die than the View. You know? Pink still paying alimony? No, I'm fine, bro. I'm fine. I get, my bile still works. It drips from my liver straight to my stomach. And the biggest symptoms I had was, what's it called? Where you shit all the time. Where you eat and then you shit right away. What's it fucking called, dude? What's it called? I forget. Whatever. But it went away. It went away as soon as I went keto. And it was crazy because keto was supposed to make it worse. Eating high fat foods was supposed to make it worse, but it went away. And essentially I've had it under control since. As long as I don't eat a bunch of junk food and I eat real food, I eat meat and eggs, no problem. Now, if I wake up and eat like terrible food in the morning, it'll come back. But as long as I wake up, I eat eggs, pork chops, bacon, toast, I'm all good. Tuna. Yeah, I got a Subway tuna sandwich. I was working at a sub when my gallbladder attack happened that made me go to the emergency room to get my gallbladder removed. I was working at a cell site in like the outskirts of San Antonio, so like the only closest place I could go to grab some food was a convenience store that had a Subway connected to it. So I went to that Subway and I got a tuna sandwich because I do like a tuna sandwich. And yeah, I mean it wasn't the tuna sandwich's fault. It was gonna happen no matter what. It just didn't like happen until I ate something. Like it was progressively getting worse, and I just thought it was acid reflux. Oh, it was a Subway that I should sue Subway for that. Yeah, IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. I shit my ass off every morning after I drink. Yeah. You can actually, I mean, you can eat, if you eat right, you can get rid of it. I was told that was like the one symptom that the doctor said, hey, just so you know, well, actually it wasn't the doctor. Nobody told me about it. It was a nurse that came in and he was like, kind of like whispering to me. He was like, hey, I just want you to know, my girlfriend or somebody I know they had this surgery and you're going to have really bad IBS afterwards. And like, there are other things you could, like, you don't have to cut it out. Like you can try to manage it and like, and I was like, fuck this. I rip it out right now. Cause the pain was just so crazy. And, he was right. But what they were wrong about, what they told me was you need to like eat like a vegetarian, you know, you need to eat like a rabbit, low fat, a lot of vegetables, stay away from the fatty meats, and you can control the symptoms. And maybe that's true. I never ate that way, so I'll never know. But what did get rid of it was, again, eating a lot of meat. So they were technically wrong about that. Although I'm sure if you eat like a fucking rabbit and just eat a bunch of vegetables all the time and like chicken and turkey, I'm sure that would probably help as well. Explosive. One main lettuce, romaine lettuce. I only order meat. I do like the meatball subs as well. I like the oven roasted chicken with some cheese, a little mayo, lettuce and tomato with some salt and pepper. That's pretty good too. I mean, there's a lot of good Subway sandwiches. Turmeric is great for inflammation ping. I heard that. I've taken turmeric supplements to see if it would help with my psoriasis, and I didn't get any result. Add it to your coffee. Yeah, maybe I should try that. Meat repairs tissue. Yeah, meat is God's food, bro. That's how you got to eat meat. All these people that talk shit about meat, they're just retards, essentially. They're retarded. Which, by the way, I got to go eat. I'm hungry. Thank you, guys. Enjoyed the show. I hope you enjoyed the show. I enjoyed the show. Had fun. We'll see maybe Saturday or Sunday. We'll see when the next one is. I'll try to pop in here this weekend. If not this weekend, for sure, Monday or Tuesday, I'll be back with the show. So look out. 9 p.m. as usual, maybe a little later if I'm running late. Discord is in the description. If you want to join Discord, it's the best way to get notifications for the show and hang out with the pingdom, with the community. And yeah, thank you guys. We'll see you on the next one. Y'all have a wonderful weekend, all right? Much love, everybody. Much, much love.
Please subscribe and hit the like and ring that bell if you want notified. Here's some other videos to watch that you might like or you might not. Have a great day, my internet friend. I hope I'll see you once again. Please subscribe and hit the like and ring that bell if you want notified. Have a great day, my internet friend. I hope I'll see you once again. Please subscribe and hit the like and ring that bell if you want notified.